Nothing? Wonderful, there we go. Should be in now, apologies for that. Welcome everyone to the Clash of the Castle watch party. We'll be watching in its entirety. We'll be opening with Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles, and we'll be in short affair heading to a main event that will feature Damian Priest versus Scotland's own Drew McIntyre, the bisexual Undertaker off, if you will, but let's hope there's no taking off. I want to say a big hi to everyone who's already joined us. We are live on both Twitch and on YouTube as well. Plenty of people already in the chat saying hi. Thank you, Spider-Boss. Thank you, Bayley. Thank you, Danny, for letting me know that the sound was not on there. It's always very helpful when the technology works. Fingers crossed it will continue to do so. Sean says, hi Tom, how's moving going? Pretty well. I should, hopefully, have the moving in date soon. I'm aiming for around my birthday, which regular viewers of the channel will know, is the 7th of July. So our big show here for my birthday, we do a birthday show every year, will likely be the last one for a 2 to 3 week period while I make changes, get the internet sorted in a new house. For those not aware, these things unfortunately can take some time. Very unfortunate. It's McKay says, I hope you had the best week ever, Tom. It was normal. Lots of work. You know how it be. I need to have enough money to live and buy houses now. So that's always fun. It's telling me I'm on subscribers only mode on YouTube, which I absolutely should not be. So let's have a double check of that and see what's happening. Customization. Anyone. Don't know why that's happened. Technology does not always make sense. There we go. It's turned off now. It's McCade, the show is starting now. It has actually started. Daniel says, yo. Thomas says, think it'll be a good show. And Danny is pumped to do this for the UK. Spider-Boss says, Bayley is liking her home in the UK. The UK love the role model. They do. Very much still our number one. Sean said, did you see Becky tweet last Monday? Such a meme queen. She may be recording stuff. She may be recording stuff. We've had our intro. We're going into another intro video now, which will be more Scottish than ever before. Because if there's one thing we need, it's more Scottish than ever before. Scotland need this. They had a bad day at the Euros yesterday. You may, of course, notice that this entire show is built around one man. One man. A man who is technically a heel, but won't be tonight. This will be the crowning glory moment for Drew McIntyre, or will it? I still think we're heading towards CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. Gunter may be asked temporarily to step aside. And honestly, can we blame him? It's McKay says, I really hope that Alba and Isla win the tag titles. We need at least one Scottish female to win a title today. I don't think you'll get it. Bianca, Cody should never have played that recording. Bianca and Jade are very much at the very top, tippity top, you might say, of the tree. Danny says, Drew's winning, isn't he? I ain't prejudicing no result. Spider-Boss says, Germany defeated Scotland just as CM Punk screwed Drew at Mania. Not quite. Nobody was caught napping. Scotland were just beaten. I mean, some of the passes. Danny says, could Gunter be involved? That would be incredibly un-Gunter. I'd honestly think Vince McMahon was back if that happened. Sean says, funny how Becky's a free agent, yet they still sell her merch and still have her in the opening. Becky's replaced in the Level Up intro by Liv. I have discussed this one. The WWE often in their contracts do retain image rights for the length of a no-compete clause. Now, yes, I know that she's not in a no-compete clause, but that doesn't affect what I've said. Anyone who actually read what I said on Twitter would know that that's got nothing to do with it. Bayley says, any reason out there why Tiffany Stratton has moved down the card of late? She was never really planned to be that high up the card. Now that there are more women on the roster, they're trying to spread the love a little further. Pretty standard fare for WWE, and very standard for Triple H, who rotates a lot more than Vince McMahon ever did. We will be watching for the full duration. The show is planned to be 3 hours long. There are 5 matches taking place, and I do expect at least 2 new champions. With us being in Scotland, we are of course focused on Drew McIntyre. This will play out very similarly to the Australia show, where it was all about Rhea Ripley. This time, it's all about Drew McIntyre. They know what they're doing when it comes to these shows, and Cody Rhodes is more than happy to drop out of the main event spot. Literally does not concern him. We currently have 9 likes. One more gets us to 10. 10, of course, takes us to a very good round number. I am just going to make an announcement tweet for this show. I was considering hosting it on Twitter as well, and then I decided, why would I do that? So, no. Gonna grab a link. What should I post? Because you don't just post a link. You never just post a link. Let's see. What I've just said. Drew McIntyre will be the star of WWE Castle. Much like Rhea Ripley was the star in Australia. Join us for news, reactions, and entertainment. I'm going to grab that there tweet. I do love, and I always find it very interesting, that Mother's Day is different in the UK to the US. But Father's Day, exactly the same. Exactly the same. Makes no sense. No sense at all. No sense. I don't get it. Anyway. So I'm going to post a please share, and then I'm going to pin it at the top. And that is the tweet stating that the show is live. Thank you very kindly for your patience. Spiderbot says, it's crazy to me WWE has made Dominic Mysterio more important than the Women's World Championship. Rhea and Liv have cared more about Dominic instead of their women's division. Dominic is literally there as a proxy because Rhea Ripley can't be. That's all he's there for. Sai says, evening Tom and all happy Clash Day. Enjoy the show. Welcome Sai, nice to see you mate. I do want to talk to you at some point soon about a pitch. Something that I'm planning to put together, which I would love your advice and opinion on. Love to talk to you at some point about that. I was really tempted to try and make it like an all hands meeting with the mod team because I'd love all your opinions, but you know, things go crazy. Leon says, hi Tom, hope you're doing well. Doing very well, thank you Leon. And so is Cody Rhodes, who stepped out, heard the singing, and immediately looks incredibly emotional. Even the wrestlers don't miss the US crowds. They know every damn word. Spiderbell says, I was hoping Roxanne Perez answered Jordan Grace's open challenge at TNA against all odds. It was Tatum Paxley who showed up. Yes, because they do not want their champion to lose. John says, can you confirm this, Tom? Per PW Insider, there's been pitches to bring back the old Bad Blood pay-per-view in October to tie into the anniversary of the first Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and HBK. I can confirm there have been pitches. I cannot confirm that they've been taken seriously. Because thus far, they've not been taken seriously. No better way to say it. As usual with these shows, I'll be a little more focused on Twitter than I am during a spoiler warning. During spoiler warning, the whole point of the show is to share news, and it's very fast-paced. It's a little bit more calm during a pay-per-view, particularly during matches, things do calm down. Oh, hello. Rhea Ripley has just tweeted, normally no one touches Drew, but tonight, Archer of Infamy, Damian Priest, I want you to kick his fucking ass. You're sorely missed in his corner. Easy. And guys, what I will say is that I'm going to be doing my normal strategy here, engaging with wrestlers and posting my opinions. When it comes to trying to grow your own channels, help me out, I'll help you out. Let's engage, let's chat, let's talk, let's go as live as we possibly can and make things happen. Gotcha, Sai. We'll have a chat and we'll try and pick some times. There's no rush. I've had an idea for what will become my family business. So my entire family, partner, children can be involved. As most of you will likely know, my youngest is nowhere near old enough to be a shareholder in a business. So it's not a now thing. It's not a now thing. Spiderboss says international crowds are better than USA crowds. I do not disagree. And if you wanted more evidence of it, Here it is. Finishing Cody's song. A very happy Samantha Irvin in the crowd there. Spiderbell says, do you think Samantha Irvin may leave WWE once Ricochet's deal with WWE expires? If she wants to, yes. As far as I'm aware, she definitely does not want to. We're giving full star treatment to this one. When the lights go out, there's no more to say. The crowd will not be silenced. Can only respect it. Can only respect it. No real reaction for Styles. That's a surprise. I like it. They're never going to stop singing. It's the football chant for Cody Rhodes. Gotta love it. Spider-Boss says Scottish fans were so loud last night I couldn't hear AJ Styles when he appeared. Yep. And they knew that. They know how to take advantage of it too. Sean says since we got the announcement of Gable signing a new deal, how long before we found out Dijak, Becky and Natalya have re-signed? We got the news about Chad Gable ahead of where we were expected to. Chad Gable was not expected to share that particular piece of news. The WWE were planning to announce it after Clash at the Castle. That said, when it comes to Becky Lynch, as I've mentioned previously, she'll be back before they make the announcement. Carl says, hola, I'm here. Hope you and the family are good, Tom. Doing very well, thank you, Carl. Just excited to get the move now. Just excited to get the move. There are so many causes for panic and stress and hidden fees, and I found out today about closing costs. That was a new one on me. So yeah, I'm not the most stress-free I've ever been. But yeah, long term, I get to supply and provide a home for my family. I've never been a provider before. I'm excited for it. Large part of that is you guys. Many of you will remember when I first started this, it was because I was on furlough and then I was unemployed. So yeah, I had no choice but to do something. And this is what I did. I'm very happy about it, gotta say. Martin, welcome. Says, I'm here live now. Hope all good. And W for Tom. Thank you, Martin. Appreciate that. I'll also, of course, say a massive thank you to you for renewing your channel subscription on 2 channels today. On 2 channels. The man is committed. And as a fan of me, probably should be. I hope you get that joke. That could be taken wrong ways. Spiderbot says, since we got some brawl on Raw between Liv and Zelina, I hope we get Liv versus Zelina at Money in the Bank. Seems like we are going to. As we know, typically with WWE, they will have the women defending on an alternating pattern. Knowing that Bayley is defending this month, likely Money in the Bank will be the turn of Liv Morgan. After that, of course, we get to SummerSlam, where both women are expected to defend. I believe that's an AJ Styles what a wanker chant, which nobody is acknowledging, for good reason. Cal says, it's crazy hard it is to move. I'm 21. I really have tried to move out. I've been working at uni as well, but unfortunately the government have made it essentially impossible to move out. Very true, unfortunately. Very true. There's an election coming, mate. There's an election coming. We don't know what that's going to result in, but there's an election coming. John says, I need to ask Tom, do you believe in Joe Hendry? I do. He came very, very close to making a massive impact on the UK scene. He made the entire world take notice of a TNA wrestler. That's good stuff, and he should keep that going. Spider-Boss says, the Liv and Dom storyline needs Rhea back so badly. Watching Rhea beating up will always be fun. Rhea knows how to beat people. She's just talented at it. A lot of interest in my tweet earlier about Nikki Cross. Also, fun fact on Twitter, only 13 away from 9,100. We're going to get to that 10,000 again. But this time with 3,000 less followers. As in I'm following, which is a good thing. Everyone now gets thrown into the prime bottles. I get that it's not as on the nose as a prime bottle in the ring. It is obviously product placement. You can see the camera moving towards it there. But also in general, it's not a bad move because it's just something else you can throw people into. Sean says hopefully we see Joe Hendry in NXT soon. I'm not aware that there is interest in making that happen yet. Carl says I think Finn and Liv are working together. There are many hints of that. There is definitely a lot more very easy to understand backstage segments, teases and hints and the like than there was previously. You look at, for example, good old-fashioned Wyatt Six stuff. That's been good. And very soon. When it comes to the teases with Liv Morgan, Finn Balor as well, there's enough to get us interested, but not so much that we think we know the answer. It's good stuff. Bayley says the Joe Hendry song is the silliest but catchiest tune since Fandango. Sean says your thoughts on Io appearing at Marigold to wrestle Utami Hayashishita. Well, essentially, she said no. WWE said yes. She said yes. You all know the rules. You all know how this works. It's unfortunate at times, but it's very easy to understand. Company says jump, they kind of have to do it. We're off into concessions. We're going to fight all the way through the dome. We're going to be thrown into walls. AJ, as is typical of AJ Styles, takes it all on the shoulder. That may be one of the reasons he ain't got much longer left. Lots of electricity warnings in this spot. I'm very sus of it. Is that the gorilla setup? Pretty sure that's Triple H. It's not Triple H, that's Bobby Roode. What am I on about? Yep, there's Triple H. This is their gorilla setup. Bruce Pritchard as well in the background. It's an awkward gorilla setup. It's zooming in a lot more than I'd like. But it's been a while since I've had a sighting of Bobby Roode, hasn't it? Spider-Boss says Liv Morgan is slowly overtaking the Judgment Day. We'll see how that goes. Sean says would be cool to see Julia appear for a match against Sari with the NXT Women's title. I do suspect there is going to be some overlap between the two. Big Cody Rhodes chance again. The match so far has Stone Cold versus Triple H vibes. Starting through the crowd is very much the Stone Cold Steve Austin formula. Also, you know, the good guy with a sustained beating. If shortly Cody goes for a pile driver on the concrete and AJ counters with a back body drop, it's very much the Stone Cold format. Jordan says good evening Tom and chat. Welcome Jordan, nice to see you mate. Carl, I watched Walking Dead for about 5 years. And then in the 5th season, a decision was made that made me think, you know what? No. And I haven't watched it since. There was no one left worth saving. Everyone was a bad guy. I was done with it. Spider-Boss says it's amazing that Bruce Pritchard, aka Vince's right-hand man, still is in WWE. Yep. And in fact, is still very highly celebrated. Very highly celebrated. Just no, Cal. Just no. AJ Styles in the figure 4, which I will say is one of the only submissions to actually hurt. Sharpshooter does not hurt. Does not hurt. I've been putting a sharpshooter on my living room floor on multiple occasions now. I'm also teaching my kids grapples and takedowns. They ain't bad at it. They keep hurting each other, but we try and make sure there are rules to it. There's been a lot of blood recently. It's not all my fault. I'm just parenting. I'm just parenting. It's normal. It's normal though. It's normal. 20 minutes in so far, AJ's not had any meaningful offense in this match. While we fought through the crowd, we haven't exactly gone hardcore yet. Still plenty of options. plenty of options to go more hardcore. Tables and ladders and chairs. Oh my. AJ with the suplex out of the ring. Pretty classic from AJ. Always gets a good pop. Sean said, did you see that Sexy Red got arrested on the Saturday before her appearance at NXT Battleground? Yes, I did, and the WWE will be very happy with that. Bayley says, there any submission moves that are legitimately banned in WWE? Not really. Though there are question marks about certain moves. For example, the Kimura lock. You're not allowed to use that unless you're Brock. Stuff like that. Martin said, just got into Resident Evil games. To be honest, used to play them, but remakes are class. So, I actually got the Resident Evil 3 remake when I got my PS5. I haven't used it yet. Planning to. I loved Resident Evil 2. I think I've played most of the Resident Evil games, but I'm going to surprise you with this one, Martin. My favourite Resident Evil game is Code Veronica X. I like Alexia Ashford. She cool. Boys says, hi bro, yesterday you tweet Alexia is ready. Do you mean she is ready to return? Yeah, pretty much. Virginia says, just got here, what have I missed? So far, Cody Rhodes has beaten up AJ Styles. Kind of it. I used to play a lot of co-op for Resident Evil 5. Never played 6. Also haven't played the new ones. And Cody's mum's getting involved. Cal says, this might be controversial, but I don't want Howdy feuding with Randy yet, or anyone who Bray had a big feud with. It will likely be independent of that, though. Randy Orton is apparently open to losing a few matches. Now's the time. So he says, I'm guessing it's a fluke like the opening match. Wrestlers are wearing Rangers and Celtic colours, but I appreciate it. Sean says, do you think we see Uncle Howdy tonight? Nope. I think we see him tomorrow. Spider-Boss says, I remember Tia Hale on NXT using the Kimura lock during her matches. Yep. Again, as I say, Brock's not there anymore, so it's debatable whether it is or not, but the idea was no one could use it if Brock was there. Mara says, 3's amazing, 4's okay, Resident Evil 2 is annoying. Can't deal with Mr. X every 5 seconds, takes my enjoyment away. It was one of those that, when I first played it, him just barging his way through walls and things was genuinely magnificent. Spider-Boss says, Mama Rose is at Clash of the Castle. Thank God The Rock isn't there to mock Cody's mom. At the moment, I'm actually playing Horizon again. I've finished Zero Dawn a while back, played it again, and I've just started Forbidden West. I got the PS5 almost entirely for the Final Fantasy remake, and I don't think I'm getting part 3. It played with my emotions. I'm not ready to forgive. I like games that get me emotionally invested, hence why my favourite character in all of media, Ellie Williams. If you don't know who that is, we might not be friends anymore. Cal says, Tom, do you think there could be wrestling events at Anfield or Bramley Moor Docks when it's built? Yes, after all, Taylor Swift. They like making money, and now's the time. Spider-Boss says, Cody quit WWE in New Japan and Ring of Honor and AEW. The man loves to quit. Yes, and every time he quit a promotion, he came out better for it. You know when you leave a job to go to a better job? That's all it is. When did he get cut open? Bloody hell, Cody. Gonna do a tweet. Gonna do the most obvious tweet in the world. Cody Rhodes, he's bleeding. Because of course he is. Thank you very kindly, Martin. Very generous donation. For anyone who's not aware, any and all donations at the moment are going straight to the house. I am buying a house with the idea that my entire family will be able to live in it, and I'll be able to use it as a base of operations to expand the business that I have at the moment. You'll get a lot more videos than you're getting at the moment. It's only live shows right now, but I'm planning to go back to WTF Wrestling on Sundays, and of course the PLE Wednesdays as well. So every donation does help get that through faster. And I very much appreciate that, Martin. Says, do you expect any Y6 stuff tonight or all for Raw on Monday? I expect something. I expect a tease. And I expect a reminder that the intention is tomorrow will be... Well, not tomorrow. Friday will be a big day for the Y6. Carl, I am expecting a QR code and it to be in many ways the definitive one. Sean says, Cody is a champion of SmackDown, yet the Bloodline is still the main focus. Yes and no. The Bloodline still has a lot of focus. But I would say the main reason for that is because Solo versus Cody is on the agenda. I'm expecting it for SummerSlam. I don't think there's anyone else that Cody could really face. Unless the plan is versus AJ Styles free. Stranger things have happened. Martin says, is Brian Gewirtz still writing? Or is he left with The Rock? He's actually still involved in the WWE creative process, but he is working on a part-time schedule. Spider-Boss says, I think we're close to seeing the new Bloodline take out Paul Heyman. Last night, Solo Sikoa warned Heyman if he lost with KO, he would go after Heyman. He didn't lose, to my knowledge. Joe says, hey, hope you are well. I'm looking to the England game tomorrow night for the Euros. Glad you are. Hope you're enjoying it. I haven't watched much Euros so far, but I'll definitely be get myself a drink and going to watch that one with my family. Martin says, has anyone watched The Downfall of WCW? It's amazing. I haven't as of yet. Though I do really enjoy checking my history on that one. WCW was an entertaining time. Sly says, is there a world where Cody's mum does the Helen Hart spot and quits for him? Surely not, but they mentioned her a few times and I don't know why. Certainly I don't think that's a bad spot or a bad call. If someone else quits for you, it's not a bad spot. Cody's not quitting though. That's not going to happen. It's like when they did the Ronda Rousey Charlotte Flair I Quit match. Ronda wasn't going to quit. Okay, that was genuinely an elbow to the face. Spider-Boss says, do you think we could see Cody defend the title at Money in the Bank? Honestly, I'd like him to take a month off. From defending the title more than anything. I would like to see him start getting involved with the Bloodline at this point. Wrestle a couple of matches. Maybe have a match against someone like Tama Tonga on SmackDown and just have all hell break loose. I could work with that. Bayley says, with the Y6 picking some of the lower card, there still seems to be 6 or 7 main roster performers with no creative storylines. And that's true, but there's quite a few different reasons for that. Dijak, for example, they're waiting for his contract to be renewed. But also, as we saw over the last few days, there are teams like Cedric Alexander, Ashanti the Adonis that they're trying to pair up and just try and do something with them. There are plans for more releases, just not yet. We're getting a bit hardcore now. We're getting chairs involved. We're going for throats. AJ Styles does historically go for the throat. Carl can't wait for The Rock to come back. Sean says, did you know anything about this? But apparently Vince wanted Charlotte to go back-to-back of Rumble wins, but a former writer told him they need to make new stars, so Bianca ended up winning. No. I reported in the September that Bianca Belair would be winning the Royal Rumble and would be going up against Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. I reported that, but unfortunately it was during a period where a whole load of people high up in the industry were calling me a liar and nobody believed me. You'll never guess what happened. It's still there, by the way, on Twitter. Very easy to find. Cal says, WCW can sum up with 2 individuals, Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo. Really can't. There's a lot more in that, particularly names like Hulk Hogan. Spider-Boss says, I've seen Bischoff talk about the fall of WCW. Bischoff never admits his mistakes. With Bischoff, it's always other people's fault. He did encourage some massive success, and that's also one of the main reasons they failed. Joey says, hey Tom, which TNA wrestlers do you think we see in the NXT Battle Royal? There's quite a lot of options. I haven't heard any names at this point. Martin says, actually, hear from WCW and former Turner people admit everything Bischoff said about Turner execs, hating WCW and wanting it gone. Someone even said if you help WCW, it's career suicide. Sean said, are they going to do anything of Odyssey Jones? Probably not. The crowd's still heavily invested in this one. Going for Cody with the belt now. We've definitely had the first phase of this match. the face beatdown phase and now the heel beatdown phase. Third phase will of course be a lot more even, but this is just the part where Cody is made to look tough. So I says the WCW doc is entertaining but not historically accurate. It's weirdly painting Bischoff really sympathetically. Worth a watch though. Blair says, what's up Tom? Uncle Howdy today? I don't expect so. But Bo Dallas is in town. Carl says, see Hulk Hogan destroying TNA is what I hold over him. It's good again now, but it will never have what it had in the early days. Speaking of TNA, by the way, I did report that Jeff Hardy would be going to TNA and not WWE. Nice to see once again another report come true. Martin says, people blaming Eric, but not Turner execs. Now Turner execs admitted they wanted it to fail. I think both can be blamed. I think there's a lot of people at fault for the death of WCW. Eric Bischoff is one of them. But he was far from alone. Spider-Boss says, I think Bischoff was a 90s Tony Khan. Always took shots at WWE and Vince. Yeah. For a while he did that while he was winning. Joey says, Ricochet is good as gone after Monday, or is there still a chance he stays? There's always a chance he signs a new deal. I find it unlikely. The thing is, because Bron Breakker's got a very bright future, Ricochet could literally return in 10 years and just attack Bron Breakker. They've given him a good exit strategy. You could just Christine Cage it for a bit. So apparently Cody has passed out, but that's not the end of the match. That seems silly. AJ is going to go spit on him to wake him up. He's considerate like that. Bottle to the back of the head. He was already awake. That a H2O chant? Are we talking tax? Okay, so it's not tax. Okay, so it's kink. AJ Styles with the kinky bondage gear. Why am I not surprised? Spider-Boss says Bron Breakker slamming Ricochet reminds me of how Strowman used to slam Roman in 2017. Sean says I've been rewatching Heroes on Peacock. I'm towards the end of season 3. Really enjoyed the first season of that. Couldn't get into the second. Same with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Martin says Eric was a part, but he always said Turner execs wanted them gone. Many believe Dave Meltzer instead. They're now on camera admitting what Eric always said, but he was part of it, guaranteed. Also, I'm actually really enjoying this match. It's been a good match so far. I Quit matches have an extra difficulty to them, where you've got to lay it out knowing that your standard near fall doesn't really happen. Do you remember when the Miz's dad was a big deal? That's that. One slap, two slap, the crowd popped again, she went for a third slap. I don't think she had permission to do all of them. I think if anything, AJ's a wronged party there. Carl says, do you think AEW and TNA's relationship has been affected because of TNA and the WWE working together? No. No. And the relationship expired. AEW and TNA stopped working together, and TNA found a different partner. AEW might be perturbed by this, but not really an option they've got. Hello, Daniel. Nice to see you, mate. Spider-Boss says, Shane McMahon beat up the Miz's dad after he turned on the Miz. Very much so, yes. The Miz's dad was a big deal. Very briefly, and very strangely. We're going for, I'm guessing, a phenomenal elbow with a chain. Okay, I love what just happened. That was beautiful. The camera work is brilliant. You couldn't see Cody picking up the chair. That's as close as you get to a WWE chair shot to the head now. And he fell beautifully off the top rope through a table. Guys, AJ Styles, man. AJ Styles. Cal says, for me, I just can't forgive Bischoff, Hogan, Dixie Carter or Russo for the downfall of TNA. Spider-Boss says, I never got why Roman didn't get his win on Shane McMahon in a one-on-one. Dunno. Weird one. Sean, yes, they are banned. However, a throw, and you're operating with no power on it, suggests that it isn't quite as banned as it was. Martin just goes, wow. Welcome, Shan. Good to see you. Gal said, did you see Drew McIntyre and Billy Corgan yesterday? Ultimate shithousery. Yeah, TikTok gave me that one. TikTok gave me that one and I quite enjoyed it. Okay, the crowd are chanting one more time. I thought they were chanting welcome back to AJ when he got in the ring. Daniel says, could this WWE TNA crossover lead to them signing Grace? Could do. Long term, I suspect that is the plan. They're just going to wait until the contract does expire. TNA, much like New Japan, are not afraid to let you sign someone that they've already got signed, as long as it's a deal that works for them. He does, Spider-Boss. Cal says, will Billy ever get his money back? He invested in TNA? Probably not. The crowd are hot for Cody. We're heading into a finish here. But if you cross Rhodes, don't do the job. AJ's already seen the chair. And Cody has blood in his hair. Of course he does. Look at how not surprised I am. Cody going for another one. Again, AJ is falling very close to the chair. I'm suspicious of it. Cal says, Tom, did you see MJF returning? Only brought in 80,000 more viewers. 80,000 viewers is not to be sniffed at, mate. That is a draw. When you consider that's about 10% of their audience. That's a big number. It's also not far off about 5% of Raw's audience. So it's a big number, mate. It's not going to be sniffed at. Sean says, is WWE working with or going to work with Pro Wrestling Noah? I think I say something about it. Pro Wrestling Noah and the WWE have worked together in the past. There are intentions to see more of that. And to be fair, much like AEW renting someone to New Japan for the G1, the WWE want a lot more loans of their talent. They want their talent, particularly NXT talent, to be popping up everywhere that they possibly can. Getting more experience, getting more matches under their belt, and getting more exposure. It's not a bad model. It's the exact same model that New Japan uses, and I've reported about it a couple of months ago. Spider-Boss says WWE and TNA could trade talents. WWE get Jordan Grace and TNA get Natalya. I don't think there'll be like a proper formal trade, but I do think there'll be lots of popping up hither and yon. I will also say, just because why not? I would love 80,000 viewers. That would be 800 times my average. Which would also mean 800 times the income. And I'm buying a house, so that would be great. Martin says it gives me Flair vibes with the bloody hair. I think that's the main reason he went blonde, if I'm honest. AJ Styles now going for the knee. In the pre-show, Kevin Owens did suggest, if it's an I Quit match, just break the ankle. Just break the ankle. AJ has some blood on his face now. Cody is largely gone. The match will continue. Bayley says WWE could book Jordan Grace the way Ronda Rousey should have been. People will get very annoyed with that very quickly. Carl says, is Jacob Fatu actually signed for WWE? I can't remember if he did or I've lost my mind thinking so. He did. Can confirm. Carl says, did you see Flair saying his biggest regret in life is TNA? And that says a lot about him as a person. Again, was glad to be able to report on Jeff Hardy going back to TNA. That's good times. AJ's about to give up. He's in the corner. Cody's got the steps. AJ Styles gave up. And that is that. Cody Rhodes still holding the stairs. I think he still wants to hit AJ. He owes him one. There's no double turn coming. If he hits AJ, it's because AJ deserves it. He's thinking about it. He's definitely thinking about it. The camera missed it. The camera missed it. And the crowd keep going. Just one hit. Just one hit. Respect it. Sean says, no offense to Liv fans. Since to become champion, ratings have been... Nope, we're not doing that, Sean. Ratings are down always. Every year at this time. It has nothing to do with who the champions are. We're not doing that. Spider-Boss says, 2 things guaranteed with Cody: crying for anything on TV and bleeding during his matches. Cal says, seeing Jeff in a place that adores him is so good. Daniel says, any sightings of Punk yet? Not yet, except for all the pictures that have been taken with him in Glasgow. He is there. Marna says, good match but not finished for me. I think unfortunately I Quit matches are limited in finish options. It has to be a moment of cowardice. And we have our first ratings of the match coming in. Let me know what you think out of 10 for that match. Sai says, solid opener but anticlimactic finish. 8 out of 10. Jordan gives it a solid 8 out of 10 as well. Martin a 7 out of 10. Cal says Cody was going to straight up kill AJ. Martin says the finish ruined it. Cal says a good 7 out of 10. I give an 8. High-paced action, though a little bit obvious in some of the spots. I do think that was slightly better than their match at Backlash, just because there was a little more going on in it, a little bit more hardcore. I really enjoyed the quote-unquote chair shot into the table, and I also think in general that is a good finish. For I Quit matches, you're really limited on what your finishes can be, so I'll give them that. Bayley says, rating 5 out of 10, went too long and only a couple of spots. It did go for about half an hour, that is fair. It was quite a long match. Marlon says, people go out summertime vacations, holidays, etc. Stay out longer, so ratings always drop after Mania up to Survivor Series. It will kick back in, as you might expect, it will kick back in around the time of SummerSlam. SummerSlam is when it will be kicking firmly back in, and I'm excited for that. Cody Rhodes celebrates with his championship. That is our first of 5 matches. We are nearly an hour through the show already. Plenty more fun to come. Mashup Dad, want to say a massive thank you for your donation there. Very generous of you, and I very much do appreciate it. Please remember, when someone is able to give a donation, you can hit like on those donations as a viewer, and it will help the growth of this channel. It is a interesting little way to keep the train going, and it really does support things. Thank you very kindly, Mashup Dad. Thomas says I would give that 7.5 out of 10. Don't know if I'd already read that, but apologies if I have. Solo Sikoa has made a beeline for Cody Rhodes. And guys, what did I say? What did I tell you? Solo Sikoa, Cody Rhodes. Tamatonga and Tongaloa take the opportunity to kind of sneak. Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa is what I've been pitching for months as the SummerSlam match. So you can definitely see where at Money in the Bank there'd be a great 6-man tag match. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton supporting Cody Rhodes. This also potentially helps build towards a Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes feud. This right here, everything we need. The Bloodline have been chased off by the good guys. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens both taking the moment to grab Cody and say, no, no, no. We come out and stand tall, okay? We come out and stand tall. Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes are just a little bit too close to each other right now, and it's scary. Daniel says apparently Punk has got himself a Celtic shirt. See how that goes. Matchup says, stupid question. Any word on how management views Cody's reign? They're loving it so far. They do think it needs to be kicked into a bit higher gear. Solo Sikoa will get it there. Martin says, best I quit with Cena one where he tied against a ring post and can't remember the opponent. Callis suggested Batista. John says, Tom with another win. Martin says, I had Orton in my head. Are you hearing voices in your head, mate? I know a guy. Spider-Boss says, after WrestleMania 40, Cody's match has been okay with some cool spots. Still not on the level of Roman's title defenses. And I did say at the time, you gotta lower your expectations. Not everyone is going to be a record-setting 4-year championship reign. Martin says, Money in the Bank or SummerSlam for that. I'm going SummerSlam against Solo and a 6-man tag at Money in the Bank. Cal says, will Cody ever be free from the bloodline? Probably not. Probably not. Sai, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I absolutely trust that you are handling it. I think I may have ended up reading it out. And I'd imagine that buzz that I just got on my phone is from you explaining the situation? Oh no, no, unrelated. Bayley says, is Bloodline versus Bloodline a possible match at Mania? Yes, as is Roman versus Solo. Martin says 6-man at Money in the Bank would be good. Spider-Boss says, I think a 6-man tag team match is the only way for Cody could lose now. We're now getting some Jey Uso hype in the good old-fashioned Peacock adverts. I'd imagine this is because his push has slowed down. Got it, Sai. Unfortunately, I was just too ahead of the game. Honestly, I thought it was a joke. And I'm still honestly assuming it's a joke, to be honest. Sean says, do you see Jey Uso winning Money in the Bank? WrestleVotes is saying all signs point to Jey winning. Are we then heading towards Jey versus Cody? Or Jey versus Gunter? I don't necessarily see him as a contender. I don't see it. Lovely, Martin. Appreciate it. Cal says it's almost like this Tom fella knows his stuff, and Martin says, nah, he makes it up. Troll told me. The Trolls have been doing me some numbers recently. We've been averaging about a peak of about 120 viewers per show. Pretty happy with that overall. Pretty happy. For such a niche topic. Spider-Boss says Cena versus Randy Orton at Bragging Rights 2009 was an awesome I Quit match. Randy tried to burn Cena with the pyro. And Joey says, do you think the Bloodline story is ice cold right now? No, not at all. Not at all. Bayley says, will there be ratings, so to speak, when WWE moves to Netflix? Nope, and they're excited for that. They just don't have to factor in ratings ever again at this point, and they're very excited about it. They're really struggling to explain Jey Uso at the moment. Yes, he's getting very good reactions, he's very popular, but this whole fighting for his legacy thing, that's what Roman's doing. He is just little Roman. Kind of awkward. Also, the strobe lights are getting annoying. It's a long advert. We have 4 matches left, meaning Triple H is much more likely to be sticking to his half-hour per match format now. 2 hours, 4 matches, it just makes sense. I'd imagine the women's tag match will be relatively brief. Talking ratings, one thing I'm enjoying right now on the ratings discourse, particularly on the old Twitter sphere, the old Twitter machine, is the recognition that the WWE have been trying to sell people on posting the AEW Fast Nationals for years. We all know who does it, and we all know that a ton of journalists have been approached to do it. Can't say I was one of them. I'm okay with it. Martin says, could this be like a fly in the corner ending, Tom? I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Martin, to be honest. Spider-Boss says, I remember Jey Uso once said Roman will always be his tribal chief. Yeah, Solo's definitely not his guy. Sean says, if Chad doesn't win, who would be next for Sami? Possibly Bronson Reed. We have had Bronson Reed. I'm honestly not sure. Maybe we go back to Jey. So he says, I'm not watching the weekly WWE shows currently, but there's a marked difference in production from one PLE to the next. Less jump cuts and dizzy camera action. Much better. Almost every week, and you've just seen Triple H saying WWE's on fire, almost every week you get one prolonged camera run, which is just incredibly impressive and always just covers one person in particular. Sami Zayn was the first, Becky Lynch has been another one. It just follows them all the way through. It's very appealing. Gotcha, Martin. Got ya. Right, yeah. Extreme Rules, also to be fair, CM Punk's return. CM Punk's return was glorious. They put the bug up, and it was a wonderful time. I said, don't trust it then, stand by it. Mashup says, can you imagine how Vince's new Titan Wrestling Federation will look with Pete Dunne back in charge of production? It won't. Vince McMahon, I don't expect, and this is speculation on my part, I don't expect that Vince McMahon will ever own another business. I don't expect he'll have the opportunity, personally. We're heading into the Women's Tag Team Championship match now. A lot of focus on Isla Dawn and Alba Fyre. Alba Fyre, of course, going through it a little bit right now. It's a good thing that she can go back to Glasgow for a little bit. It is interesting seeing all these younger pictures of the two of them. I've seen Isla Dawn wrestle quite a few times, personally. Favourite of mine, Hannah Taylor. Worked very well with her way back in the Fighting Spirit Dojo, which was, of course, the Grizzled Young Vet School. Can only credit it. Spider-Boss says ratings became a thing during the Wednesday night wars between AEW and NXT. Since then, fans on social media argue about which show got more ratings. Yeah, nobody really cares. It's just people who are... You know how you get those football fans who think that every other team is shit? Even when the other teams are winning Champions Leagues and the like. Yeah, it's those people. Only the things they like are allowed to be good. Chris says, good afternoon, Tom. Great start to the show. Unfortunately, I won't be able to finish the show tonight, so I'm heading out to do commentary for a local wrestling show. Well, that is good news, mate. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy Clash when you get back to it. That's it. I've always been interested in doing commentary. I think I'd be pretty good at it, but the day has not arrived. Not an unfair comment, Daniel, and you're, of course, welcome to dispute what Sai has said. Sai will have final say as mod, but I do appreciate that you are open to getting your side across. We're open to debate here. We always have been, and I appreciate you doing so. Martin says, do we trust it today? I trust it today, but not too much. Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark on the way down to the ring now. Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark have not had a lot of opportunities recently, but they have been a lot more featured since Jade, Cargill and Bianca Belair took the championships. Triple H's rebuild of the women's division is almost entirely based on the women's tag team division. Cal says CM Punk's return was incredible. I was drunk in peace and I'm convinced I woke the whole street up. Bayley says Tom Colohue with a Vince spoiler. Can't call it a spoiler. Can definitely call it speculation. And I did. And I did. Justin, welcome to the show. Thank you very kindly. Thank you very kindly for another generous donation. I very much appreciate you and the constant support that you've been providing. Says, hello Tom, nice to see you. Apologise if you already touched on this today. Any more news on Howdy and Nikki at Clash? Bo Dallas and Nikki Cross are at Clash of the Castle. I cannot sit here and say they're going to be on screen. I can't do that. But I can say that they were invited and they are there. Please do remember to hit like on Justin's donation. I can see 5 of you have done so already. I do appreciate that. It's just another way of showing appreciation, not just from myself, but from everyone here for that donation, which of course does allow further growth of the channel and further support of my pursuits. So thank you kindly. Spider-Boss says, I think Randy may turn on Cody during the 6-man tag match at Money in the Bank. Nothing's impossible, but I do think Solo versus Cody is more likely first, so that we can get Roman back. Marna says, you're saying he's staying in King's Hotel to leave if appropriate, mate. If inappropriate, mate, don't mind. I don't know what you're saying. Basically. Cal says Vince will Right. Got it. I'm there now. Cal says Vince will hide in the shadows and will never be seen if the accusations go to court. Appreciate you. Mashup says big up to Justin, which I appreciate. Thank you, Mashup. Sean says sad Isla and Alba didn't get much of a reaction in their home country. Unfortunately, they're not big names right now. I think they'll still get reactions, and I'm glad they gave them a little video just to try and build that reaction up. I do think they're going to look good in this match. They have a big opportunity here. I've interviewed Alba Fyre on a number of occasions. She's just lovely. Like, there's some wrestlers I have horror stories about. Some wrestlers which I have comedic horror stories about. Gun to Steal My Phone, for example. Like, that's a joke. Alba Fyre's just lovely. She also makes a real effort to put over wrestlers not currently in the WWE. I was wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt. She commented about, I believe it's BT Gunn, a relatively local wrestler who... Oh, what a catch of that coat. Oh, did you see that? What a catch. So it's a triple threat tag match. So we've got 3 in the ring at once. Interesting. Spider-Boss says, I think Bron Breakker would be a good IC champion. The IC title was The Rock's first title before he became a megastar. Yes, it was. Sean says, makes sense for Nikki to be there. She is from Scotland. Yes, and also she's going to be a major part of the Wyatt Six going forwards. Sean says, Jade has the aura and star power. And Spider-Boss says, I saw Logan Paul's picture with Trump. More reason for fans not to like him. Chris says, I'll be meeting D'Lo Brown tonight. Heard nothing but positive things out of people who've met him. Me too, to be honest. Me too. See if you can get that interview for your channels, mate. Particularly asking about what's going on with TNA and WWE right now. Because D'Lo has been pretty involved with TNA over the years. And is a former Intercontinental champion. I don't think enough is said about that. I don't think enough is said about that. Former Intercontinental champion. Gotcha, guys. Eric said, I think Punk accidentally screws Priest. Allegedly, Martin, allegedly. Eric said, do you like the new Liv Morgan? Yes, I absolutely do. I think she's really got a lot of people watching her right now. And she's got quite a lot of the roster wrapped around her little finger. Cal says, Logan Paul doing a podcast with Trump is sickening. Logan Paul knows how to get views. Said it before, we'll say it again. Not necessarily something I like, but that's my own political views, as you know. I'm not shy of my political views. I'm also aware that there are people in this chat right now who don't have the same political views, and that's okay. That doesn't mean I'm going to abandon my own political views. Throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. Sean says, how did you stop yourself from fanboying when you interviewed Triple H? The first interview? And yeah, okay. So, the first one, you unfortunately can hear it a little bit. I say, Tom Colohue, Sportskeeda, you can hear it in the audio, which is on the Sportskeeda YouTube channel. I say, Tom Colohue, Sportskeeda, and I ask about NXT being considered the developmental brand. He answers, gives a very thoughtful answer, I felt, which genuinely answers the question in detail. And I say, thank you. Always say thank you if someone answers your question. It's just good manners. And it also means you're remembered, because most fans/journalists don't bother saying thank you. Like, if he's answered your question, say thank you. If he hasn't answered your question, no chance. But it's not hard. Anyway, the second time was a bit more professional. He didn't quite understand the question I was going for. I don't think I phrased it as well as I could. It was about the overall variety of NXT UK pay-per-views. But his answer is part of the reason why I'm able to say why he would have smaller pay-per-views. Why I know that first match was going to be hardcore and the rest are not, because he wants to create that variety. Why he always likes having tag team matches in the middle of the card, and how I knew that Drew McIntyre was going to main event, etc, etc. So I did fanboy a bit, but I did it afterwards. So I asked him the question. That is on the Inside the Ropes YouTube channel, because they just took the whole audio and uploaded it. I'm in their video. They just didn't bother to, give any credit to anything. And yet they never get mentioned about that anyway. I'm in that. I ask my question. He answers it. And then once everyone had wrapped up and we were being led out, I went back and shook his hand. And apologised for a bit of a convoluted question, because I thought about it and it wasn't great. It's an awkward one, isn't it? It's a very awkward situation. But it is what it is. I fanboyed a little bit. That is a Shayna scares me chant. And to be clear, Shayna Bazler is engaged in my tweets quite a lot, compared to other wrestlers who have as well. Shayna, Rhea, Lana, quite a few women have engaged in my tweets quite a bit. During the Mae Young Classic, when Shayna debuted with the WWE, she was introduced, and I just posted something along the lines of, Shayna Bazler, King terrifies me. Literally 5 minutes later, she liked the tweet. A little bit later, when she was wrestling against Rhea Ripley, I tweeted the same again. She found it, she liked the tweet. I wasn't tagging her. She found it, she liked the tweet. Later on, and she really liked this one because she retweeted and shared it. Sonya Deville uploaded a photograph of herself and Shayna in suits, looking king amazing. And I replied, stating, there's no point trying. I will never look this good. They both very much enjoyed that tweet. Shayna Baszler scares the crap out of me. That's my point. Spider-Ball says Shayna's super nice. She answers some of my questions on her Twitch streams. Genuinely a fun person when it comes to what she does on the Twitch side as well. Very entertaining and very, very knowledgeable. Sai says the show is an hour old and they've not mentioned SummerSlam 92 once. For shame. Mashup, that's in poor taste. There's, I know what you're trying to do. That's in poor taste. We don't do jokes around people actually being killed. We don't do that. That is in very poor taste. Just being very clear there. Daniel says, I think Punk will screw over Drew. Will add more fuel to the fire. The Punk interfered, cost him in his homeland. Carl says, Tom, will you ever be able to interview Cena? I mean, it would be hard. You can't see him. But not impossible, because you can always interview someone by email or by Twitter DM. Done it before. Jake says, is Bo Dallas there, do we think? I don't think. I know, he is there. Boy says, one guy did a super chat to Wrestling Days, said you said Bo and Nikki are there tonight. I did say that. That is absolutely correct. And they are. Appreciate you letting me know that. Also, if that's got Wrestling Days a super chat and a bit of income, I'm very happy with that. He's a good guy, Wrestling Days. Nothing but respect for him. Daniel says, we know you won't count Bin faces PM, right choice. The man's got a real social media presence at the moment. TikTok is doing him a lot of favours. Martin says, Jade Cargill looks a major superstar. Alba Fyre didn't quite get the height she wanted there, but Shayna Baszler made it work. Big pop for Alba Fyre. Cal says, when Rhea comes back, the pop is going to be insane. I do apologise for a little burp there. I tried to style it out, but I don't think I did successfully. And so I'm just glad we don't ever have to hear Cody finishing the story. We will, just afterwards. Afterwards. Thank you very much for letting me know they're serial killer. Sherlock fan if I've ever seen one. AKA Just Incredible. Thank you very kindly for gifting a sub on the Twitch side. That goes to Chris Best. I appreciate you very much for that. Both sides, very generous. Thank you. Spider Boss says, Bianca and Jade are like two Wonder Women, too damn good and strong. Sean says, would love to see you interview Alexa or Becky. That's the dream. That's the dream. I don't think I'll ever be big enough to warrant it. I have ideas and I have plans. I don't think the day is going to come. But we do what we can. Martin, you're going to have to get used to that. That's just something that's going to happen. These the continentalization strategy. Jane scares me again. Very much works in the favour of the area. You got to remember, Glasgow spent a lot of money on this. They want to see a return. Cal says, could we see the Fiend mentioned in the Howdy story? Surely we will understand the influence the Fiend has, especially on Alexa and Howdy. I'm sure there'll be an effort to put all that came before into good context. Tower of Doom there. I'm sure the effort will be made. Isla Dawn seems to have hurt her wrist there. Isla Dawn has hurt her wrist. No, it is this elbow, yeah. That's genuine. The referee did communicate with the back about that. Bianca Belair of a superplex just doesn't seem to stop rolling. Alba Fyre is communicating across the ring with Shayna Bazler right now. I think she's going to finish the match. Bianca Belair also communicating with her too. They're going to finish the match. Jade Cargill did not get into the ring particularly well. That was a botch. She had a few botches in the last time as well, but she's just pushed through it. She is just pushing through it, which you got to give her credit for. That also wasn't great. Oh, this is getting real awkward. Joey says, damn, that was a rough botch. Sai says, yikes, Jade. The referee just came around and essentially said, don't tap. The referee clever there, hiding the fact that looked... Stop doing that. Stop it. That is a tap. Shayna Baszler does not have a Kirifuda in. That's just a sleeper. She's trying to communicate with Jade here. Oh, I see what's happening. Bianca Belair went for a 450 and went knee first into Baszler's back. Thankfully, she didn't quite land on the back. She landed on the side more than anything, which means no damage will have been done. Bianca will have taken that. Lovely spinebuster blocking Zoey Stark. We briefly just got a close-up of the back of the referee there for a while. Cargill, I think she's hurt herself from that coming over the ropes. Big DDT. Is that going to be it? No, Isla Dawn hits a German with a busted up elbow. Surely not. Tell you what I did not expect to see today. Oh. Tell you what I did not expect to see today. Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn have won the Women's Tag Team Championships. Triple H got one over on us again. Was she just selling the elbow? She wasn't selling the elbow. That she's really actually hurt it. Isla Dawn has actually gone real face. She's so hurt she's actually got her real face on. Oh, that was nearly a knee to the back of the head as well. Oh, a few things went wrong there. Martin says camera didn't hide it, she just tapped accidentally. Joey also says, did she tap? That was some bad miscommunication. Sai says Jade's gone here, she's allowed a botch, but it's affected her badly. Carl says Jade looks in serious trouble, and then the finish came in. Joey says that was surprising. Carl says, yes, get in. Brad says, I'm so happy. Joey says the match was a cluster F, but I'm glad they won. It wasn't a cluster F. There was one botch in it. Last couple of seconds, there was a botch. It was not a cluster anything. It really wasn't. Don't know where you're getting that from. Isla Dawn, Alba Fyre winning the Women's Tag Team Championships. It's not something I was expecting, but I'm thrilled to see it. Jade Cargill, unfortunately, had another match to forget. Chris says, okay, I so did not expect that. Bayley says, unfortunately, Jade is just not ready for the top at this point. Unfortunately, yeah, that seems to be the case. They got their flowers. They're getting their pictures taken. It is, like, that is Isla Dawn's real face. Okay, just want to be very clear on this one. She's not in character right now. She's trying to get back in character, but she's not succeeding. She's not succeeding at all. She's just so happy to be there. Oh, I feel so good for her. Sean says, I hope Jade didn't get hurt with that botch over the rope. Didn't seem to. Didn't seem to. Okay, why are they hyping up Saudi Arabia? The greatest champion spectacle. They have announced the second Saudi Arabia show of the year, November 2nd. I, as you know, will not be watching. How are you rating that match then? I don't think it was anywhere near as bad as that one momentary botch, but certainly it wasn't anywhere close to the first match. I enjoyed the finish, but I don't usually let the personal preference get too involved in it. I'd give the match a 6. Say it was good fare for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Also, as the triple threat was involved, there's just a lot happening, and it was a bit more chaotic. By and large, there were some good moments, but Isla Dawn also didn't quite get the height she was expecting in a couple of moments. The superplex hurting Isla Dawn. Nope, Alba Fyre didn't get the height she was going for. The superplex hurting Isla Dawn. Isla and Alba, it's too close. I will give it a 6. I think it was a good match. Wasn't a great match. Martin says the match was all over, but happy for the finish. Sai gives it a 4 out of 10. John says great moment in front of their home fans. We are now heading into Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental Championship against Chad Gable. I have Chad Gable winning this one. Carl says, what was that injury for Jade? She looked concussed and slow. She wasn't concussed and slow. She got her feet caught when she was hopping over the rope. It was very awkward landing. If she was hurt, it won't have been anywhere in her head. But as with Backlash, Jade Cargill, unfortunately, when she does make a mistake, gets in her head a bit. She gets in her head and she struggles to get out of it. And once that happens, it affects everything that happens afterwards. She's had some bad luck so far, and she's making mistakes. Sean says quite rightly 2 PLEs in November. Bayley gives a match a 5. Chris says it was maybe a 6 for me. While there wasn't a lot of botches, there were a lot of awkward moves that brought the match down. Brad gives it an 8. Cal gives it an 11. Joey says Jade's performance was pretty rough, so yeah, I'm calling it that. You're entitled to call it whatever you would like. I'm entitled to disagree. We all know how this goes. Yes, Jonathan, they did. Sai says MVP was the ref for being clear-headed enough to direct traffic even post-match. Literally post-match, yeah, she cleared the ring for him. Joey says the ref did a good job. Cal says I swear there better not be no greatest Royal Rumble match. Fair. Martin gives it a 6. Joey says I didn't expect Jade and Bianca to drop the titles already. I suspect the excitement over Jade Cargill backstage isn't where it was. Cal says 11 out of 10 because of who won, but 6 out of 10. Daniel says shock result. Cal says will Otis turn on Gable? Eventually. I don't think it'll happen tonight. It's not a tonight one. Now, Alpha Academy is quite important. Alpha Academy is important because looking at the people in this, there's only one of them who I think would get pushed once it breaks up. I don't see Maxine Dupree getting a push. I don't see Akira Tozawa getting much of anything. Otis is the only one I expect to actually get much out of this. So I'm a little worried about them. Joey says, do you think Jade needs more training in the PC after Backlash and Clash? I'm not the happiest with what I'm seeing. WWE felt she was ready, but the reason she's been put in a tag team is so that she only has to do a very small amount of actual work. What I will say is that right now, that small amount of work is too much for her. And that's not promising. That's not promising at all. The tease of Otis attacking Chad Gable is perfect. The Alpha Academy storyline has been brilliant so far. Chad Gable definitely feels like he's heading up at a very fast trajectory. We'll just have to wait and see what everyone else is capable of doing. No Tozawa. Maxine Dupree looks scared. Also, what happened to her ankle? That's a big-ass boot. Have I forgotten something? Daniel says, good to have a WWE show at a reasonable time rather than starting at 1 a.m. Yeah, happy about that. Of course, we're going to Money in the Bank and SummerSlam next. They will be 1 a.m.ers, but I unfortunately might have to miss Money in the Bank because of the whole house thing. Cal says she has potential, but she's not ready. Joey says, just getting TV time for Tozawa and Maxine is a push, to be honest. Not unfair. Sean says, your thoughts on likes being private on Twitter now? It's dumb. It's very dumb. I've never understood the concept. Or the advantage. There's just no point doing it. I don't know. Gotcha, Chris. Appreciate the reminder. Yes, I did like LA Knight and Logan's pool. We knew this match for the US title was coming. I'm still excited for it. But yeah, as regards Twitter, it's all very silly at the moment. All of the decisions being made seem to be the wrong ones. And yes, I'm growing on there. I'll eventually get paid by there. But I'm just a little concerned that it's not going to give me the enjoyment I need. Now, it has allowed me to detach a little bit emotionally from Twitter. I'm not really saying anything about me as a person. And my intentions are to use it as more of a social media platform, purely to go by my rule of social media. Sai may recognise what I'm about to say. My rule for social media is it fast, is it funny, or is it new? If it's not, don't do it. So, I'm doing fast reactions to a show right now. I provide news, which is new. And hopefully, I occasionally make a very dumb joke about, well, Drew McIntyre being screwed or Chad Gable bringing Otis to a finish. One of those three, you're doing well. None of those three, you ain't doing well. You will behold, the massacre is coming. Someone's going to have a very bad tomorrow. Justin says, I'm always glad to get Tom's name out there. Just says, way more eyes on him. Days respects Tom and watches the channel also. He does, and I have nothing but respect for Days as well. He's done me a lot of favours and given me a lot of help recently, and I appreciate that. There is quite a bit of audience that we share. So when I do report something, people on Twitter tend to let him know. And that's good. That means he has more to talk about, and it also means, of course, that I grow. There are definitely a few times when he shared my work and my channel has grown because of it. I appreciate you, Sai. I appreciate that. We have just had the QR code. If there's going to be a massacre, keep your eye on Sami Zayn, particularly if he loses this. I suspect they'll fast track Chad Gable versus Otis, so they need to do something to get Sami apart. Otis and Maxine Dupree are at ringside. Either of them could cost Chad Gable a match. Bayley says, unfortunately for Twitter, Elon Musk is unstable. And Chris says, another QR code, of course, leading up to Monday. Indeed. Monday will be the big moment. Can't wait. Cannot wait. I am not aware that Alexa Bliss is going to be there on Monday, by the way. Nikki will. I can't imagine it'll just be a point of 6 people turning up and immediately attacking someone. That's very Shield. That's very Nexus. It's very not Bray Wyatt. So keep your eye out for the main event segment. Crowd is going nuts for Sami Zayn. Not a surprise. We love him. We've always loved him. We always will love him. Even though he's the guy who brought Logan Paul into the picture, we still love him. Man says the crowd is amazing. We can expect just a pretty classic wrestling match here. 2 people at the top of their game going at it. Maxine's there to essentially just look worried. Otis is there for something. We don't know what yet, but he's there for something. It's going to be a bit slower, this one. We've seen the hot hardcore action between these two. We've seen a few matches. What they're going for is a bit Kurt Angle and a bit name redacted. That's what they want to do, and that will make them stand out. I mean, you look at the talent in the ring, they know how to stand out. This again goes back to what I was saying about Triple H and his variation. This is the wrestling match of the show. This is a point where we actually see people wrestle each other. And you don't see a lot of people wrestling each other in wrestling. Not anymore. Sean says, I mentioned you to DSWWE. They said you don't get enough attention for your work and for people to check you out. I'm not familiar with them, Sean. Can you tell me more about them? I'd like to pay the respect back. I just need to know who they are. Can you tell me more, please? Rohil did say, do you think the YS6 faction will come out tonight? And then says, the time of my comment was amazing. Literally had the QR code about 30 seconds from it being sent. You know your stuff, mate. You know. Thomas says, main question is, will Drew come out to Broken Dreams? I do believe he will. This is a strange one because the last time he did was also in the UK. I believe that particular theme, the WWE have a license to use it. They just don't have a license to use it in the US. It's an interesting one, and that's what I think. Martin loves the decibel measurer. Yeah, they snuck one in early up top, didn't they? Sami Zayn just showing off there. Okay, yeah, you can do that. I can't do that, all right? It's mean. Eric says, do you think today is a day for Otis to turn? I don't think it'll be long. But I think if Otis is going to turn, he should have an Intercontinental Championship on his future. In order for that to happen, Chad Gable needs to win this match. So if we're going to do Gable versus Otis, Gable needs to win this match first. That's how I'm seeing it. Sami heads outside and the crowd just go nuts. Sami's going to talk to him. Learned a lot from Cody Rhodes, he did. Likes to talk to people. Let me talk to you. There's no count out at this point. They're just taking their time. I tweeted earlier today, Nikki Cross has been missed by the WWE. 6,500 views so far. Just going to go ahead and repost it, because why the hell not? Big old slap to the face there. Chris says, I think it's going to be a slow build to who is in the YS6. Me too. This is why I suspect that we'll start with Nikki Cross and then go from there. Bayley says, Sami Zayn turns 40 next month and he's still at the top of his game. The actual age that you can wrestle to is a lot higher now than it used to be. Once someone like Sami Zayn reaches the age of The Undertaker, he'll still be able to use all of his fingers. Unless he wrestles Pete Dunne more often. Just don't wrestle Pete Dunne. If you want fingers, if fingering's important to you, don't wrestle Pete Dunne. The crowd will not be silenced. As this is the wrestling match of the bunch, they are going to take their time with it. They'll get a 20-25 minute window. There's still an hour and a half left of the show after all. Martin says, is Sami bleeding? Not that I can see. That certainly wouldn't be fitting of what they're trying to do here. Going for Sami's arm. Again, his fingering should be fine. Cal says, bought Pringles from the shop and they're all smashed. FFS. I love a good Pringle. Mostly because I can put it in my mouth and then just literally suck my tongue back in. The whole thing goes in. I don't know if I've just got a massive mouth though. My big gob? Who the hell cares? A lot of rest holds in this one so far. It feels like a Randy Orton match. Like, I'm excited for the finish. I know it's going to get good. But we're not there yet, are we? Not going to hide the fact I was a little bit distracted by Maxine Dupree there. Not going to hide that fact. Thank you, Sean says, WDS, WWE rank, WWE superstars, greatest matches, championship wins, moments, best PLE events, and more. So they're a YouTube channel, Sean. Do they do live shows, or were you just commenting on one of their videos? I saw that C Wrestling also put me over for the Bo Dallas and Nikki Cross conversation. Hopefully they saw the actual quote, because I did not say they were going to be on screen. But I did say they were going to be there. And then, of course, we found out that there's going to be some sort of return on Monday Night Raw. Tells me everything I need to know. A Maxine chant. She's had some hate over the last few months. I'd imagine she's very happy with that. I don't know what you mean, Martin. Don't know what you mean. It's okay. Otis will distract me next. He's a very attractive man. Sami Zayn of an elbow drop. Of course, the other elbow is giving him some pain. And another elbow drop. He's starting to build a 5 moves of doom, isn't he? It's all about the bows. An elbow used to be a band. Funny old life. Zayn's still selling the arm, but keeps forgetting pure force there to get Chad Gable over the rope. And considering he had his arm on his throat, Chad Gable showed for it. Credit to him for taking that. We're going for a moonsault. Yes, we are. Bit of a Charlotte Flair moonsault. In that he just sort of lands next to his opponent. Not worthy of a holy shit chant. Calm down. Sean says, they are a YouTube channel. I don't believe they go live. Mentioned you on a post they made in the community tab thanking Becky Lynch after her contract expired. Appreciate you for that, Sean. You're spreading the word and I very much appreciate it. For a while, all of our focus was on Twitter, and certainly that helps. But there's plenty of other arenas in which we can help the channel to grow. I'm doing my best, and people are starting to pay attention. Decent drop kick, bad camera work. We needed to go hard cam for that one, just to see the height he was getting. Carl says, I don't know if I'm wrong, but I absolutely never want to see Brock back. Shouldn't ever be allowed back. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter wanting him to. Yeah. People on Twitter do that. A lot of them don't actually want it. They just want to be difficult, trollish, dickheads, that sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, Brock did have some fantastic wrestling matches. There's a reason he's not back. There's a reason they're letting his contract run down, as first reported by myself and confirmed by a number of different sources now. Personally, I don't feel they've missed him. As much as I do think it would be great to see Gunter versus Brock, Bobby Lashley versus Brock wasn't great, was it? I got excited for that, WWE. You did not deliver. You really didn't. We love Otis, we do. Oh, Otis, we love you. That's what that chant was. I'm waiting for the Akira Tozawa chant to come in. The issue is, if they're chanting for the people outside the ring, they're not giving great attention to the people inside the ring. And that was a hell of a powerbomb. And a flying headbutt. Why does no one do jackknives anymore? No one does jackknife powerbombs anymore. That was a perfect opportunity. Maxine doing the big pout. Cal says there's somebody under the ring for tonight. Fun fact, there's almost always somebody under the ring, just in case something goes wrong. There's almost always someone there who can rebuild it at short notice. Fun fact. Bayley says Brock Lesnar is no longer worth the money he demands per match. Yeah, pretty much. Certainly brings a lot of heat with him. A lot of hot, sticky, wet heat. A lot of uncomfortably warm, slightly burning heat. A lot of piss. Anyway, I can't imagine him coming back anytime soon. Particularly with, you know, the feds involved. Oh, we're in the middle of a good old-fashioned German off. Slightly insulting to the Scotland crowd. Sami Zayn rejects the Germans and goes explosive instead. Chad Gable looks great taking that suplex. Now, I've got to say, after a very slow start, I'm starting to enjoy it a lot more now. We're starting to get a little bit more high impact. Things are starting to happen and starting to move. Oh, he does land on his head. He does land right on his head. That actually was not a good explosive suplex at all. That's gotta hurt. Hey, that'll jam your spine up. I'll break your neck. I still have Sami Zayn for this one. No, I don't. Wrong way around. I still have Chad Gable for this one. If not now, then soon. We do, after all, still have a Money in the Bank coming. Fair enough, Martin. Appreciate it. I'll let you know what's happening. Oh, crippler crossface. Do you remember earlier how I made the mention of it being Kurt Angle versus Name Redacted? Flying headbutt, crippler crossface. You see what I'm going for? Kel says the greatest match ever is 500-year-old Taker and Kane versus 450-year-old DX. That was a cluster and a half. Sami Zayn now going for a crippler crossface. Does not have quite the right grip for it. I thought the crowd were reacting to someone getting involved, but in reality it's just the crowd reacting to everything. They be hot. We're going for ankle lock. So Chad Gable is both Name Redacted and Kurt Angle at this point. Sean says Carmelo mentioned having a qualifying match for Money in the Bank. Who do you see him facing? Someone who isn't in it but hasn't had many opportunities recently. Baron Corbin? Chad Gable shouting at the crowd, which is always a bad sign. This does feel like it's right before a win for Sami. Barney says, well, we're going to be Name Retracted versus Name Retracted. I mean, to be fair, John Cena was the first person John Cena ever showed respect to was Name Redacted. Into a roll-up from Sami. Good kick out from Chad Gable. Did a full-on headstand there. He's done a lot of damage to Sami, but he hasn't finished the job yet. Little limp from Chad Gable. Are we going for a Steiner recliner? No, this is going to beat him down. He's just given the nod to Otis. I don't know what it means, but he's given the nod. Oh, don't touch the bell. Don't touch the bell. If you're winning, you don't touch the bell. Made a point of giving it to Maxine Dupree. I'd imagine he's about to distract the referee. If something's going to go wrong, it'll be now. Maxine doesn't want to do it. You're never going to hit him like that anyway. There will be words. I think Maxine Dupree's out. Yeah, this is feeling like a Sami win now. It's a hell of a kick, but it's a hell of a kick to Maxine. Oh no. Oh no, he dodged. He adapted. O'Connor roll into a beautiful bridge. Sami kicks out very late in the day. Oh, it's a good suplex. Get your head back in the game, Chad. You've not lost it yet. Sami Zayn is down. Chad Gable is coming out of the ring. Man's an idiot. Man's an absolute idiot. He's sending it to the back, but the camera's gone away from Otis. Okay. Now we're getting serious. Carla give Roman about 5 to 8. Man can still go. Sami Zayn takes out Otis. Again. Chad. It's not over yet. Get back in the game. Hits a moonsault on both men. Again, a bit of a Charlotte Flair moonsault. It's not over yet. You've got him back in the ring. Don't hit the moon. You don't hit 2 moonsaults in a row. That's not something that happens. The Exploder followed by Chad Gable screwed it up. I guess we'll see this all over again next month. No, he's escaped. Okay, we're still in this. It's got me now. It's full on got me now. Gable trying to rest for a moment here. Once Sami throws him back in, I'd be keeping my eye on Maxine and Otis. There's still an opportunity for some betrayal here. Oh, okay. An ankle lock on the barricade. This match is starting to get very diverse. I think Otis is about to beat the ever-living crap out of Chad Gable. Otis is about to beat the ever-living crap out of Chad Gable. They were never going to have him actually hit her. Bayley says Gable gets more distracted than even Drew. Chad Gable's turned his back. He's telling Otis to attack Sami. It's not going to happen. Otis, I think he's just going to leave. I think he's going to pick up Maxine and just leave. Huge pop for Otis. This is back during the Mandy Rose era sort of pop. He's going to pick up Maxine. And he's going to leave. The gaslighting will not work out. Sean says, I wonder if Maxine reminds Otis of his peach. I find it unlikely. They are extremely different looking people. There it is. There's a hell of a kick. Chad Gable will have to wait a little longer for his moment. Gable still has the opportunity to make himself the hero here. He just has to show the footage on Raw. So, you know how I reposted the tweet about Nikki Cross saying Nikki Cross has been missed by the WWE? Just got a reply from Andrew Zarian of the Wrestling Observer and of Fightful saying, not for long, and winking. Andrew Zayn, for those who don't know, friend of the channel. Also, is generally a good guy. Gonna retweet that, because why the hell not? Why the hell not? Just good things for my career, what can I say? If you're watching, Andrew, appreciate you. Triple H has tweeted again. Well deserved. And a huge moment. Hope Isla's elbow is doing well. Carl says Chad Gable is going to seriously bully people on Monday. Sai says it was a well done angle, just not sure it belonged in a title match on a PLE. 7 for the match though. Carl gives it a 7-2. And Carl says, what exactly do you mean by not for long? I didn't even say it. Don't know what you're talking about. I do think we're not going to see the end of that. Sami versus Chad Gable will come back around again. Chad Gable isn't done with the Intercontinental Championship, but he may need some better backup in order to get there. Bayley gives the match a 7 out of 10. I do think it started off just a bit too slow, but by the end I was very invested, very much enjoying it, to a point where it started to feel a little overbooked. Didn't mind it, quite enjoyed it. Martin said, women's title match is still to go. Will someone cross paths in the match? I can't really comment on that one. Cal says Gable might never win. Nah. It's all good. It's all good, don't you worry. We don't let go of moments like that. We have Triple H talking about SummerSlam 2 nights. I'm interested to see, in ads for SummerSlam in 2 years, how much Becky Lynch is in there. Now, it isn't, but it'd be fun if it was. Okay, so 2 matches left, as Martin quite rightly points out. Next up will be Bayley defending the Women's Championship against Piper Niven. Chelsea Green will be in her corner. Kathy Kelly gives the opportunity to Isla Dawn and Kaylee Alba Fyre to celebrate their victory. Again, that is Isla Dawn's real face. She's completely broken character entirely. Someone's gonna party tonight. Oh, don't say that. Don't say you're keeping them for a while. You know what that... No. Damn it. Cal says, see, you are by far the most reliable source in the wrestling world. And you could say Gable will 100% win. However, Gable could land 150 finishes on Sami, and I still wouldn't believe he could win. I get what you're saying, mate. I do get what you're saying, and I appreciate the compliment. Curvin is decided for Sami versus Sheamus. Sean says, do you think two nights SummerSlam will be a one-off or a permanent thing? I think it will be a test initially. I think the year after they'll make it 2 nights permanent. I think that's the plan now. Because the shows are moving outside of the US, it means that they sell more tickets in the US. Because it's becoming rarer and rarer to see the WWE in the US. So don't worry, just go for it. 2 night SummerSlam 2-night Royal Rumble. It's all happening. It is all happening. Bayley says Becky really played Twitter last week for Monday posts. People should have asked what she was recording. Sean says, I've been seeing now that fans believe Drew isn't winning now that Isla and Alba won in their home country. I, if you haven't noticed, have changed sharply what I've been saying about Drew McIntyre and Clash at the Castle. Maybe because I don't want to give away the finish. Or maybe because I don't really know anymore. Maybe a lot of it depends on whether or not CM Punk is ready. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. Cal says I can't wait for Roman to return. Sai says Sami and Braun Breaker might be a shout if they're going all in with a push for Breaker. Yeah, I see what you're going for there. And Cal thinks CM Punk is going to screw Drew McIntyre again. Everyone wants to screw Drew. We've been over it. We'll be over it again. We'll be over it until the end of time. Everybody wants to screw Drew McIntyre. Piper Niven has had a bit of a rocket ship push. We'll have to wait and see how convincing it is, how long term it can be. Piper, of course, has been in this position before. Put on a good match with Becky Lynch. Of course, what most people remember in that match is the WrestleMania sign setting on fire. Also, can I just say, Bayley in that black outfit with a blazer. Oh, looks amazing. Definition of style. Carl says the Scots would put a price on Punk's head if he screws Drew. It depends if he's into it. Mr. Stumble, very, very interesting question. I have a very attractive partner already. Thank you very much. I don't think I could keep up with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. I don't think I could really keep up with just one of them. They're very strong, very capable women, and I don't know how long it would take them, but I'd imagine the choke me with your thighs meta would be the end of me very quickly. Rhea Ripley likes to do that, as we've seen with Dominic. Bayley says, I have a sense Chelsea Green finds some dumb way to cost Piper the match. Possibly. But given that they've just done something similar with Chad Gable, I don't necessarily see it. Triple H likes to order his matches based on variety. Oh, okay. I think someone's having a party next door. Kevin says, so far the week match was a tag team match. Sadly, that does seem to be what usually happens, yes. Joey says, do you see Braun Breaker winning a title this year? I don't. I'm not sure where we're going with Gunter. I think he's going to have a good shot. But for Braun Breaker, give him the Goldberg treatment. Give him a lot of people to run through. Don't push him too far too fast. Give him a slow but powerful build. Kel says, I envy Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley being with the most dangerous man in the world, Dom prison veteran. Dirty Dom is the prize. They're using this vignette to really show a nervousness from Bayley. Also, fun fact, I've interviewed Piper Niven. That leather jacket of hers, she has a lot of pins on it usually, and it really tells you who she is. It's that sort of affair. As an example, big fan of the TV show Red Dwarf. So she has a Starbug on the jacket. Chelsea Green's a mood. Chelsea Green just looks very happy to be there. Not a huge reaction for Piper Niven, though she is a heel. And it's worth remembering, Bayley... Hey, Bayley. I want to know if you'll be my girl. It's what we're all here for. It's what we're all here for. Now Piper Niven getting that moment. Says, let me hear you. And they do. Carl says, does it already seem dead in the water with Andrade, or is it just me? I don't think they really had much in the way of plans for him. The idea was that after WrestleMania things would kick in, but they went ahead of schedule anyway. I don't know, it's kind of awkward in that whole storyline at the moment, around that whole group. It's not working. Kevin says, 2-hour kickoff show without any matches today. Was it? I thought it was only one. Majib says, do not doubt Eddie's son being able to keep up with 2 firebrand women at the time. Also fair. Again, he is the prize. Brad says, Red Dwarf is fantastic. Used to watch it on PBS. Stonewall says, ex-con Dom wanted to wish his family Merry Christmas and was arrested. When are we getting justice for Dom? I don't know if maybe the crowd are just a bit tired now, or if the miking up isn't perfect. Doesn't sound like Bayley's getting much of a reaction, and that's just ridiculous. She stops next to a happy birthday Bayley reindeer sign. You gotta respect it. Look how happy she is. Look at that smile. Kevin says, my only problem about Piper Niven, how she got the opportunity to face Bayley without winning a Battle Royal or a number 1 contender match. Would you say the same about AJ Styles? And Mr. Stumble says, Bayley only wants Dom. This crowd won't be able to compete with ex-con Dom. The man has magnetism. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Sean says, I was surprised they kept those chants going when Bayley was a heel. Yeah, we don't care. Face, heel, don't care. We just want to know. And she hasn't told us. I really wish she'd just tell us. Still waiting on Bayley's answer from the entire UK. Hey, Bayley, I want to know if you'll be my girl. No homo. Don't, no, because people will intentionally misconstrue that. I'm not going to post no homo, even though it would be funny. It's like when you call a gay person gay. It's hilarious. I don't know why, but it is. Chelsea Green's look to Samantha Irvin after that was so adorable. That's your pop. That's your pop. The song has already started. I don't think any of us are surprised by that. We are committed. We will never give up. We will never give in. We will never surrender. We will ask it on the beaches. Okay, she's nodding, but that's not an answer. We need to know. Cal says, could Finn screw Priest tonight? Anyone could, let's be fair. Mashup, I don't think they get the reaction when they're walking down. Once they turn off the music, you can definitely hear it. Cal says, if Priest loses the only member of Judgment Day with a belt is our truth. Nope, Brad, it's not good enough. We need to hear it. She could just be hyping herself up. We need the answer. The full thing. We just need to know. Piper's going to show the power here. This will likely be a bit of a Roman Reigns match. Chelsea Green's going to get beat up. Do you reckon they have someone whose entire job is to just fix the Prime? Someone got thrown through the Prime again. Go fix it. This is going to be pretty classic face heel stuff. Let's go Piper-chan. Bit of a battle going on for hearts and minds right now. Bayley will win it. There's also, I would say, absolutely no chance of Bayley losing this. I cannot imagine a world in which she loses here. Cal says, maybe it's because I'm a shithouse, but wouldn't you love, like, Bayley losing the belt within 3 minutes? No. No, I would not. Now, I've met Piper. The first time I ever saw her wrestle, she wasn't wrestling. You know what she did? Chelsea Green sounds a lot like Becky from Addams Family Values. She's going to get kicked out. The little apoplectic hop was beautiful. She's just hopping mad, quite literally. Well, I dare say there's going to be no costing anyone the championship. Did someone in the crowd just do a woo woo woo? Demeaning me. Carl said they just want to see Twitter rage again, like when Kofi lost the belt in about 25 seconds. Thankfully, I think we're a little bit more grown up now under Triple H. Sean says, who do you believe takes the belt off Bayley when it's the time? It's a hard one, actually. I do find it very difficult. I think Nia Jax has a genuine opportunity. I don't think it's impossible there. But it depends. It's not the most stacked division on SmackDown at the moment. Nia Jax seems to be the only real threat. I'm not sure what the WrestleMania plan would be. Unless the plan is when Becky returns, she goes to SmackDown. I'm starting to think in actuality, Bayley versus Charlotte is the plan. Oh, that was not the rotation she needed. No, she did not get the rotation she needed there. We need to get a different camera angle. Bayley had to catch and lift. I need a better camera angle. Bayley had to lift in the roll. She went too low. Bayley just rescued her a little bit there. Carl for Charlotte, I think it's 12. I think Charlotte's had 12 championship reigns. Again, I'm confident she'll be the one to beat Ric Flair's record. Okay, that senton missed. Slightly awkward so far. We are very firmly in the position as expected. Piper and Niven showing off the strength. I will say, Piper Niven doesn't look as big as she has at times. And I don't mean weight-wise, I mean pure impact. Certainly when she was in the match against Becky, they built her as a monster heel. They've given her big moments against Nia Jax in Royal Rumbles. Bayley, meanwhile, is built very strong. And it makes Piper look like she's not quite the dominant force that she could potentially be. They're still trying to play her like that. They're still trying to build her in that regard. But her options are a bit more limited when it comes to someone who's a bit more physically equal to her, like, for example, Bayley. Again, let's go Piper chance. Carl says, I think Charlotte versus Jade would have happened next year, but after the last few weeks, Jade might be a far way off those matches. Robin Dave, welcome to the Can't Believe Solo threatened Paul Heyman. How dare him? Yes, Cal, there was a QR code right at the beginning. Oh, over rotation in that was Bayley's fault. There was a QR code in the beginning of the Intercontinental Championship match during Sami Zayn's intro. Bayley says Chelsea and Carmella would be a wild tag team. I do think Chelsea's faction should grow. She's a very good manager. She gets very good heat. And just in general, she delivers. Sean says, if you count the Divas in NXT Women's Championships, Charlotte has tied her father's record. If not, she's at 13 reigns. They don't count either of those now. The Divas Championship did convert into the Women's Championship, which then converted into the Raw Women's Championship. They're all considered one reign. For the NXT Championship, they have declared that that's not a World Championship anymore, which is curious because they were trying to make it one. But I suppose given its reputation as developmental, it is somewhat disingenuous to do so. It's a bit slow motion so far. Cal thinks Paul Heyman's going to need therapy after the last 6 weeks. He's been jumpy. Man's been nervous. I don't know if maybe they haven't had enough live events. I just feel like there's a bit of a lack of chemistry right now. Nice move. Bayley with some second rope stuff, keeping it fresh. Cal, I definitely think it's a win for Ricochet. I don't think he'd get the top level push that he feels he deserves. Not in the WWE anyway. Unfortunately, I also don't think he'd get that anywhere else, but we have the opportunity potentially for Ospreay versus Ricochet at Wembley. If AEW can get that, I'd be into it. A lot of elbow drops right now. Bayley getting some sustained offense in for the first time. And we are into our final hour of the show. One thing that Sasha Banks was always very into. Before a big match, she'd always find a new dojo, new wrestling school, and learn something new. Bayley seems to be following in similar footsteps. Uranagi, Samoa Joe style Uranagi, which is always wonderful. Another senton. A strong cover. Piper knows how to use a weight. Robin Dave says, I feel like Jimmy may save Paul if Solo puts his hands on him. We'll see. I think the hands have to be put on him, and I think it's Roman. Kel says, it's crazy Jeff Hardy can still do high-flying moves. He's been doing it for over 20 years. Gonna let you in on a secret, Cal. He can't. He genuinely can't. He takes his life in his hands every time. I still remember many years ago, a United States Championship match between Jeff Hardy and Shinsuke Nakamura. In the first minute, Jeff Hardy did a swanton onto the apron, bust his back up badly, and just limped around for the next 10 minutes. It was very awkward and very difficult to watch. Belly to belly off the top rope. Not an easy move to do off the top rope. You've got to have the rotation before you start the jump. Well done, Piper, for leading that one. Chelsea Green has come down with a luchador mask. It's not her. It's not her. It's a different person. It's a different person. It's a different person. Bayley had a visible pin. Bayley had a visible pin there. Well done, Chelsea Green. Piper Niven is, I think, checking for a wardrobe malfunction there. Chelsea Green just being launched. Definitely won't hit the finisher here. You're not going to let Bayley have that moment. Big pop. Bayley kicks out. Not sure if that's Piper's finish. Kel says Jeff Hardy's my goat. And also, who's this new wrestler? Who's this debuting? It's Dick Togo. Dick Togo debuted in basically exactly the same way. Sean says, do you think at some point Samoa Joe will come back? Yeah. I genuinely think Triple H is counting down the days. I think he's got a calendar at home, literally in his house, and every day he goes up and just marks an extra day. One less day, of course that's a finisher, one less day without Samoa Joe. I think fans need to start doing that as well. Lovely from Piper. The match is definitely picking up now. Couple of awkward exchanges early on, but they've found their groove. Robin Dave says this crowd is amazing. Sean says, why does the Rose plant remind me of a version of Jon Moxley's old version of Dirty Deeds? Jon Moxley did use the Rose plant when he turned heel against Seth Rollins, I think it was. I'm glad he elevated Dirty Deeds a bit more. Carl, I've said everything I possibly know about Samoa Joe, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Triple H wants him bad. Another attempt at the Rose plant foiled. That's the Ronda Rousey finish right there, because the shoulder wasn't even down. You know I'm posting that, 100%. Bayley hitting Piper with the Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch finish there. Shoulders did not want to play ball. There were distractions. There was Piper Niven. But in the end, it wasn't enough. Okay, someone's actually trying to call me out for trying it on with Bayley when I'm just repeating a chant. Crucifix driver is not very unique. Once again, it's a Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey finish. What did we think of that? Oh, Piper looks heartbroken. What did we think of that one then? I'm going to give it a 6. I think there was a lot of focus put on Chelsea Green, who wasn't part of the match. I think Piper Niven was shown to be a threat, but not shown to be enough of a threat. Bayley did win quite conclusively in the end. There was also a visible pin from Bayley, which I think was clever. Does add to the idea that, oh, Piper could win, and visible pins don't necessarily mean you're going to lose. But still some difficulty to it. I don't know. There was some awkwardness early on that sort of set it against me, and it finished quite abruptly. So I'm giving it a 6, and I stand by it. Danny says, that's Drew winning then? Of course. Definitely directly related. Sai says 6 out of 10 match and time for the main. Matchup says, is Matt Hardy heading for WWE? No. I've been out of the loop recently. What about Jeff? Has he burned all bridges at WWE? Yeah. They might bring him back for a quick pop, but it wouldn't be... It would only be as part of TNA. I've been in that train station. I've been on that train. Interesting. Bringing back a lot of memories. Cal says Samoa Joe versus Cody Rhodes would break records. My personal favourite is when my favourite Samoan named Joe faces off against my second favourite Samoan named Joe. It's good shit. Robin Dave says, since Triple H wants John Moxley, would he come back as John Moxley? John Moxley wouldn't come back at all. The only thing I would expect from John Moxley is a Hall of Fame induction as part of the Shield. The Albatross. What flavour is he? Carl says, distractions. A debut of a Mexican wrestler. Fair, didn't even consider that. Good crowd, pops, good spots in the match. 8 out of 10. Robin Dave says, was alright. Joey says, will we ever see Grado? One day. You may notice that they're announcing a post-show, not a press conference. Press conferences are being cancelled until further notice. It's just awkward. Sai says, I love that they just marketed golf in Scotland as wind, sea and rain. They know where they are. Okay, so Corey Graves has broke the announce team and we're on to the Money in the Bank push. Kervin says the only matches people are going to talk about 3 men's matches. Disagree, we have new women's tag team champions. Joey says, why don't they want the reporters asking questions anymore? Because the questions are getting awkward. And they don't want awkward questions. They want easy questions. They certainly don't want to televise awkward questions. Robin Dave says, I feel like CM Punk will cause Drew to lose. CM Punk, as I mentioned, is in attendance. Bayley says, 7 out of 10 for the match. Piper did good. Sean says, what do we all think? Did Piper look better in a match against Becky or Bayley? I'd need to go back and watch the match against Becky. I was also distracted by the WrestleMania sign being on fire. Sean says, I don't think Jericho or Christian will come back either unless it's a Hall of Fame induction. Chris Jericho has already been invited back for a Hall of Fame induction and he turned it down. They're hyping up Raw by announcing qualifying matches for Money in the Bank. I do like that they're qualifying matches for King of the Ring. They're having qualifying matches for Money in the Bank. There's a reason to have matches now. With the Judgment Day barred from ringside, Drew McIntyre challenges Damian Priest. Now Gunter has a World Heavyweight Championship match lined up for SummerSlam. So we could see Gunter versus either of these men. I'm still expecting Drew McIntyre to take on CM Punk at SummerSlam. So I'm very much leaning towards here Damian Priest maintaining the championship because CM Punk. Drew McIntyre demolishing CM Punk at SummerSlam. Damian Priest losing the championship to Gunter at SummerSlam. And then at Bash at Berlin, you get Drew McIntyre losing to Gunter. However, that means Drew McIntyre continues to have no championship. And he signed a new deal expecting to have gold. Would Gunter step aside? Not for long, just for SummerSlam, to make room for CM Punk? I think he would. Sean says, I think Jay Uso already declared for Money in the Bank. He may have declared an interest, but he will need to actually compete in a qualifying match. Cal says, I shouldn't laugh, but I saw a post saying who cries more, Cody Rhodes or Paul Heyman. Ben can cry, okay? Just throwing that out there. The more these press conferences go on, there's a big chance a certain somebody with serious allegations gets mentioned in those questions. I 100% would have asked about Brock Lesnar. About Vince, you got to pick your moments. Joey, what question are you referring to? Just remind me. As I recall, that was a big moment, and Triple H... people apologised on Triple H's behalf. Triple H himself did not apologise. Robin Dave says, I hope Uncle Howdy comes in money, because there is a countdown timer. Monday, yes. Joey says, is Julia cleared for Heatwave? She's not cleared yet. They do expect her to be cleared for Heatwave, but she's not cleared yet. Glasgow, Scotland. We need to talk about this, just to be clear. Glasgow, Scotland. I will never forgive Triple H for that. Trending now on X. Fans doubt Drew's triumph in WWE Castle. So far, Damian Priest hasn't, unfortunately, done much with it. He just hasn't. He's had one match against Jey Uso. That's kind of it. Sean said Drew did have a championship Tom but only for 5 minutes. Good 5 minutes for him, though. He seemed to very much enjoy it. Lots of swinging it around. Like it was his dick and balls. The Judgment Day without Rhea Ripley has been in a difficult spot. They're lacking leadership. They're real tense. Damian Priest doesn't necessarily feel like the guy. I do think he's doing great work, but I think maybe too much is being asked of him. Just a little too much. Wait for the music. Well, full colours, full march. This is definitely an entrance. Never got bagpipes. Don't understand them. What's the appeal? Don't hate it. Don't love it. I'd imagine music's about to kick in. Will it be special? Bayley says, will we see Finn Balor around this match? I'd imagine so. Can't see any reason why not. Judgment Day, after all. Gotcha. Yeah, we are talking about the same thing, Joey. Says it was a backlash when Triple H said to pick better sources. Yeah, he didn't enjoy those. The journalist didn't behave, so now they're not allowed to try anymore. Robin Dave says Drew is doing such good work. So he says, to be fair, they're still mispronouncing Leon a month later. Yeah. Carl says, imagine Drew wins the belt, then at Money in the Bank, someone cashes in and beats him for the belt. Using his typical entrance theme? Maybe it was a one-off last time. Joey says the Liv and Dom storyline has been the best thing in the women's division. Danny thinks there is no way Drew is losing. Marlon says it had to be bagpipes. Danny repeats, no way. Cal says this is awesome, all this for him to lose. And Sai says at least the bagpipes aren't Tyson Fury butchering American Pie. That is a pop. At last year's Clash of the Castle, Zero News convinced half of wrestling Twitter that Drew McIntyre would be walking out as a Universal Champion. The decibel meter is correct. And when he didn't win, as I'd reported on Spoiler Warning, people were stunned. I see a DM Hunk sign. I noticed no DM Hunk in the chat. I wonder if he's there. Tonight, you have to wonder how involved CM Punk is going to be here. I cannot sit here and tell you who's going to win. All I can say is that no matter what happens, Drew McIntyre will have the championship before the end of the year, and CM Punk will be in his sights. Mr. Reed, welcome. Eve, right, Girls of Wrestling have joined us. Evening to you too. Have you been watching the show and have you been enjoying it? And also, are you happy to see Kaylee Ray in the position that she's in? I'd imagine you are. I would imagine you are. Yeah, it was a bad week for Zero Clash. Cal says Drew McIntyre is such a legend. And Joey saying it's when he lost credibility. For some of us, way before. Carl says, I'm glad they're not rushing Punk back. They're not. In fact, I think they're playing extremely well. They're very much keeping him in the public eye, but not to an aggressive level. He's been watching with his mates. I can only imagine all the emotions Kaze is going through right now. I've met and interviewed Kaylee Ray. I mentioned it earlier. When I met her the first time and interviewed her, I was wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt. Got a lot of shit from my partner for that, by the by. Said I didn't look professional. I enjoyed it. And also really enjoyed that Kaylee Ray made a point of saying that, well, actually, mentioning BT Gunn, I believe it was, who has tattoos of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So we immediately connected about that. And in fact, the next time I saw her, which was a year and a half later, still remembered me because of that t-shirt. Drew McIntyre's thighs just got a pop, and now I know this crowd is mine. Martin says Punk has actually proved many people wrong. Not a saint still, but he's been everything people said he wouldn't. To be clear, his actual in-ring time has been extremely small. We don't know yet. CM Punk maintains, in my eyes, his position as a flight risk. That makes sense, Dan. I didn't know that was her partner. It may not have been in 2019. It's hard to tell. But yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I agree with Cal, though, Martin. It is early days for the CM Punk of it all. Tends to take time. And he helped people behind the scenes in AEW as well. Bayley says, if Balor is in the match, it will tie back to that hotel key. Not sure it will. I don't think now's the time for that. Sean says, did everyone know Roddy Piper wasn't actually Scottish? He's Canadian. Stunned. You know who else was Canadian? Jinder Mahal. Drew McIntyre looks different. Is his hairline receding? All right. Sean says, Zero said a lot of things he's gotten wrong and he always says plans changed. Wonder what he'll say when he's wrong about what he said about plans for Becky. Help me out with that one, Sean. I'm not sure what you're referring to because I don't follow and usually completely ignore the existence of Zero News. Sean says Punk's had 2 matches since he's been back. A win over Dominic, a live event, and the Royal Rumble. Yeah, a bit of bad luck there. Bit of bad luck. I would give it more time, though. He was very involved backstage with younger talent in AEW, and then he started to piss him off. That includes, by the way, Jack Perry, who was really involved in helping him. Just Damian Priest coming down to the ring at the moment. Crowd openly hostile, way over the music. Could go ways. Presented by Gin and Juice. What a world we live in. Cal says Drew just called Priest a prick. Oh, of course he did. Joey says quite rightly, all right. Dan says people follow that zero person still. Wow, yeah. It's one of the most difficult things about my job. I work really hard to earn credibility, to prove what I say, and to establish myself with people who may eventually talk to me, who may eventually choose to engage and find new sources. I also do a lot of work that isn't like, here's a bit of backstage trivia, here's a bit of, oh, here's some clickbait. I also try to explore different routes, like I've been saying about how Triple H builds pay-per-views, because I've interviewed Triple H about it. And then Zero News turns up, says a whole load of bullshit, and makes money from it. Never has to be honest about anything. I'm very happy with the amount of people who are paying attention recently. I'm very happy with the growth of the channel recently. It is still a little frustrating that people still follow people like Zero News. Dan, if you believe it right, please do pass on my congratulations to Kaylee Ray, should you have the opportunity to do so. She may still remember me from said interview. If you believe it right. Joey says, I haven't heard Zero's name in a while since he's been outed by everyone. Yeah, still getting a lot of views on Twitter though. Cheers, Dan, appreciate you. Samantha Irvin loves her life right now. The power in her voice is incredible. She's got that crowd in the palm of her hand. Pardon me. Cal says, I love Punk, he's incredible, hard to control, and is very vocal, and it feels he's a ticking time bomb. I coined the term flight risk. You keep him happy, he'll stay, but the second you piss him off, he's gone. Damian Priest. I was going to say playing with the camera, but I'm just going to say it. I fucking the shit out of Drew McIntyre right now. This is a sexy ring. Oh, Drew. This is a sexy ring. Oh. Yes, Eric, a new luchador debuted. Sean says, as regards what Zero said about Becky, basically he said Becky's going to work a program with Lyra upon her return, willing to return early if needed, estimated to return around Rumble/Mania season. I wonder what they will say when they are wrong. We'll see how it goes. You never know, it's not a bad prediction. So he says, whatever happens to Ricochet, I really hope they keep Samantha Irvin. Cal says, bisexual Undertaker versus a chosen one. Jordan says, Samantha Irvine just... Irvin? No, he just gets it. Great ring announcer. I need to find a picture of that that moment. There's one. Literally right in front of me. Thank you, Pro Wrestling Finesse. Just going to call it sexy, because it's a sexy ring. Just three beautiful people. Oh. That's what wrestling's all about. That is a sexy damn ring. Damn right. Sexy damn ring. Right there. Drew McIntyre, as you might expect, is going to play up to this crowd to quite a high degree. And why wouldn't you? In what world would you not do that? Damian Priest is here to take a beating. He'll certainly have a few threatening moments. But Drew... Oh, landed on his head with his leg there. I think he'll be okay. Still. Yeah, Drew McIntyre will abandon the concept of being a heel today. Wouldn't you? Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. The knee was bent just enough. A good late adjustment by Drew. Sean, just going to correct you on that one. I do not really have the option to celebrate Father's Day. Stepdads rarely get remembered in that whole thing. I will never get a Father's Day card. So yeah, between us, bit of a upsetting subject. Not something anyone's doing wrong. Everyone's doing absolutely right. Still hurts. Sean says, would we say this is an updated version of Damian Archer of Infamy character? All Rise was supposed to be a slight character pivot to a more dominant, focused character. Damian eats corn both ways. I don't know what that means. McIntyre caught him. I also respect, and you may not have noticed this, when McIntyre caught him, he caught him on his wrist and kept his hand closed because it was between his legs and he didn't want to make it gay. How dare you? Dan, I thought you might get me on that one. Dan says, as for not getting attention no matter what, my dude, I hear ya. Will Ospreay publicly tweets he's going to continue as a producer for Eve, which is a fucking great thing. Everyone largely ignores. I did see that. If I had, I've said this to you before, if I had a bigger platform, mate, if I had a bigger platform, I'll be sure to pick my moment and get the word out there as best I can. You guys do amazing work. You deserve a lot more attention than you get. And it's one of the reasons I'm really glad that you drop in here, because it just reminds me every time to put you guys over for the incredible work that you do. For those that don't know, yes, Will Ospreay works as a producer and will continue to do so for an Eve show recently. Will Ospreay knows how to put a match together, guys. Throwing that out there. Cal says CM Punk shirts are going to be banned in Scotland if this ends how we expect it. And Callie's surprised that Priest is 42. Priest is 42. It's his first World Championship, but as I mentioned earlier, by the time Damian Priest gets to the age of, for example, The Undertaker, he should still be overall fitter. A lot of it comes down to safety in the ring. Some of it comes down to being able to rest between matches. Undertaker historically was incredibly fit. Incredibly fit. And he still can't open his hand. Dan says, I weren't saying it for that, but thank you, and I know. I feel you and I very much understand one another. There are also similarities. We've spoken about this, yeah. Some quite personal similarities as well, I would say. I have a lot of respect for you. And in general, quite enjoying our friendship. Drew McIntyre is still in position of dominance, still enjoying beating down Damian Priest. Priest will have his turn. We know how this goes. It happened in the first match as well. Sam Gradwell has just posted celebrating Alba, Fyre and Isla Dawn's victory as well. For those who don't know, Sam Gradwell also wrestles in the UK. I've seen him wrestle a Last Drag Standing quite recently at a gay bar. It was great fun. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Carl says, I was watching Undertaker recently about his injury he suffered against Kane. Then he put on a masterclass against Triple H. The Undertaker was a phenomenal wrestler. He also knew what the moment needed. He wasn't a phenomenal wrestler during the Attitude Era because nobody was. They didn't want phenomenal wrestlers during that time. Damian Priest right now trying to survive. Manages to put McIntyre on his back. Oh, that's a botch and a half. Drew McIntyre clever there, taking advantage, throwing in some kicks, getting the crowd going and distracting them. Well done, Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest is genuinely stuck. Don't do that. That's something that we do to you. Are we thinking drive-by by Drew? He can't get it out. He's genuinely stuck. He's got to go back over. Drew's going to save him. Again, credit to Drew McIntyre there. I don't think that was necessarily Damian's fault, but it also calls into question the Jade Cargill botch earlier. Maybe it was the ropes. Damian Priest and Jade Cargill have both fallen foul of the ropes today. Might not be a coincidence. Well done, Drew McIntyre. They're showing a replay of it, which I did not expect, for distracting the crowd and bringing Priest back into play without harming the overall story. That's experience from Drew McIntyre. Very fair point, Sean. R-Truth is 52 and still going. Looks amazing still. So says, Big E hikes Damian. Joey saying, what's up with these ropes? Holy crap. Could have been a nasty injury. Cal also says that could have been a horrible injury. Damian Priest is pulling down the straps. He's annoyed. He's limping. He's not okay. He looks like he's in a lot of pain. He genuinely looks like he's in a lot of pain. Brad says, I'd be afraid of hyperextending the knee if I did that. So it's the same rope. Cal says the rope's heel turn. Joey says, did someone put oil on the ropes? Dan says, tell me Vince ain't involved without telling me Vince ain't involved. Improvisation from Drew McIntyre. Usually in that instance, if Vince was involved, what would typically happen is that Michael Cole would call the moment. The camera would just get away from it. There would definitely be no replay. And a number of people at ringside would jump in to help the referee get Priest free. Drew McIntyre would not have been allowed anywhere near him while they did so. Carl says Priest looks hurt. Joey says I hope he can pull through, finish the match. His ankle does look hurt. It does. I can't... Yeah, he's not okay. Hopefully it's temporary. He seems to be trying to play through it. He's the champion at current. That's important. Is he going to... He's climbing the ropes. I would not make this choice, Damian. I would call that audible, gotta be honest. Marship says somebody here already wrote that after tonight. Eternal R-Truth will be the only Judgment Day member with a belt. Well, we'll see. Damian Priest has to lose first. And I don't know if Drew McIntyre can get that over the line. Going for very clever, lifting his leg at the last moment. Carried a lot of weight on one leg there. Very impressive from Damian. You gotta give credit where it's due. Drew McIntyre is not a small guy. Damian Priest has not put away countless opponents with a razor's edge. He's never pinned anyone after the razor's edge. That is disingenuous by Corey Graves. I do feel like they need to start doing that more. And Gunter's a perfect example. Gunter doesn't have a finisher. So the match can finish at any point. You're invested in every pinfall. I'm not going to be invested in that because Damian Priest has never beaten anyone with it. John says Damian could have damaged his ankle or tore his Achilles. Could have. At this point, there's no indication of anything particularly serious. He's not moving well, but he's not moving that badly, certainly. Oh, that sounded fun. They've slowed down a little bit here. I think they're giving Priest an opportunity to sort of work his way back into play. He seems to be doing so. It's not fun, but he's working through it. Kevin says, what is going on? I see botches in different matches today. It may be why I did feel that there was a bit of a lack of chemistry with Bayley and Piper Niven. When I started to think it was when they were working with the ropes. Marcel says, hi Tom and chat, how are you? Doing well, thank you Marcel, welcome to the show. So says, we're 3 botches / rough landings deep in this match. Hope they give Jade the same leeway. Fair. With Jade, she made a mistake. The ropes certainly didn't seem to help the situation. But she got in the head after it. And that certainly affected the match. I also think we have to sort of think about AJ Styles. Jumping on the top rope, being hit with a chair, still falling back through the table. It's a difficult one to read. Kevin says Botchamania is going to have a big day. McIntyre is looking for the Claymore. Damian Priest quite rightly rolls out of harm's way. No sign yet of any CM Punks or any members of the Judgment Day, who are of course banned from ringside. The fact that they're banned from ringside might suggest a Liv Morgan. There's a Claymore into the same barricade that always breaks. You'll know Samantha Irvin, not there. Madship says, nobody thinking backstage that Judgment Day could do a run in and beat up Drew for a while Priest takes a rest and gets checked? Nope, because Judgment Day are barred from ringside. If Judgment Day turn up, that's a DQ. At least. Could be worse. But it's very least a DQ. It does look like the mood on Twitter is changing as regards the ropes. Priest dodges a Claymore, gets his South of Heaven, gives it a second, weak pin, you know what this means. Couldn't get the leverage of his ankle, but it was an especially weak pin. I wanted to protect his finisher, I'd imagine. But we are back where we started here. It's a lovely chokeslam. Gavin, quite rightly, everybody botching, nobody perfect. Nobody is perfect, and honestly, if you work with the ropes, you need the ropes to be working out, have the buoyancy required. Could be, of course, that they've had more people on them, and that's weakened the overall pull. I wouldn't know. I've never built a ring myself. Might need to. Might talk to Mr. Ziegler, see what he can tell us. Cal just says ban the ropes. I believe what you've invented is Raw Underground. And you'd like to uninvent that, wouldn't you? I am expecting we'll get news about a injury to Damian soon. I don't know if it's going to be a bad one, but I do think it's going to be worthy of announcement. Sean says Damian's finisher used to be his version of the Crossroads called The Reckoning. Hasn't used it since Cody came back. Yeah, it was also awkward because they had a member of the faction I can never remember the name of called Reckoning, played by Mia Yim. Can never remember the name of that faction. Hurricane Rana. Clever. Clever. Oh, Claymore. He sold that beautifully. That'll be it. Okay. Okay. That was a proper cover. They got me with that one. That was a proper pin. He tucked Priest in to make sure he wasn't under the ropes. Also, the sell of the leg looked like he was using that very cleverly. That was kayfabe, but he's on actual leg injury, possibly. So he knew the crowd would buy it. That is so smart. Oh, you guys are getting me now. You guys are getting me. And it says Ropamania 1 live from Scotland. Cal says a very good match. Dan, who knows a bit about rings, says WWE still use real ropes, and obviously the more they're used, the looser they get. Certainly having AJ Styles bounce on them, having so many wrestlers draping on them, Piper was draped on them a bit, it does put a lot of pressure on them. It's a fair point. It may just be they haven't tightened them as they usually do after every couple of matches. Kevin says a lot of people were disappointed about Jordynne Grace's opponent last night. Natalya's not currently under contract, so they gave her someone that she could beat who's about to get a push. Good dodge by the ref. Not something you see. He's apparently hurt his leg now. So 2 people with hurt legs. Oh. Decent ref bump. Judgment Day. Now's your time. Claymore again. Remember I said earlier, no one does a jackknife anymore. Gorgeous. Priest gonna get the visible pin. Nope. Joey says huge props to Priest for getting through the match with a banged up leg. Sai says they've done really well to rebuild the rhythm and flow of the match here. Martin says, is there a reason why WWE don't use cables? Dan, are you able to take that? What? That's CM Punk. The hair was the giveaway. And that's why Drew McIntyre did that to the announce table earlier. The fact that he had a referee shirt on, I love that. Also, nothing on his arm. We're about to get physical here. Danny says, here's Punk. SD says hi. Welcome, SD. Oh, to the balls. Looks like we're going to go with option 1 then. Damian Priest retains the championship. Gunter challenges him at SummerSlam. Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk for SummerSlam. The referee is back in the ring. South of heaven, you ain't kicking out of... No, Priest is taking a bit more time. Bad pin again. That's a loss for Drew McIntyre. Yeah, Dan, the cover is bad for a finish. Suggest, by the way, CM Punk may be beating Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre will face CM Punk. Nah, rewrite that. Versus CM Punk at SummerSlam. Gold or no, that's a main event worth watching. Punk just always wants to screw Drew McIntyre. I respect it. Sean says Punk has no brace. Think he's cleared. To my knowledge, he's not cleared yet, but they're expecting him to be cleared in time for SummerSlam. Sai says Punk is a white hot heel here. How does that carry over to the US? It's CM Punk. He's the face everywhere. That's how it works. Joey says Drew really lost in his home country. Yup. Dan says surprised they didn't give something else after that. Joey says looks like Gunter is going for Priest. Oh, you're in the Seagulls, Martin. Bayley said give Priest credit for fighting through the match. Absolutely. Kevin says Clash of the Castle, Drew McIntyre loses 2 times. Danny says it's going to get good. Cal says CM Punk paid for this. And Priest looks like he's in a lot of pain. Damian Priest looks hurt after being caught in the ropes. He still finished the match, even using his injury as a kayfabe selling point. Massive credit to him for carrying on and still delivering. Sean says Punk will always be cheered by the fans, Drew will be the heel, and now, of course, Drew McIntyre gets a song. There is a very small CM Punk chant happening. It's a very fair point. Drew McIntyre is going to explode. You can only be screwed so many times before you explode. And that's our Clash of the Castle. You'll need to learn how to say Glasgow. You keep saying Glasgow. Drew McIntyre gets screwed and explodes. Taylor's all the time. Indeed, Dan, I absolutely agree. Priest definitely carried his end on it. I also really like that they brought these little hype and highlight packages back. I always loved them when they would do it at WrestleManias of old. So says the announcers are really leaning into heel Punk. Yeah, but they won't on Monday. Interesting, Martin. You'll have to let me know. Danny says always knew Punk was going to be involved, but how? Now we found out. So says Priest has a look of someone who knows he's hurt. Dan says is Drew McIntyre going to sing Sweet Caroline now? Again. Mine says Nikki and Bo there to get back in the group backstage, I'm guessing in meetings, etc. We're to fly them for nothing, maybe. They won't fly them for nothing. They won't fly them for nothing. Cal says the yapping on Monday from Drew is going to be legendary. Leon would rate Clash of the Castle 8 out of 10. What would I rate it? I quite enjoyed it. I think the ropes did sort of harm the overall moment at times. I would give it a 7. I think there's definitely room to grow, but the pacing was brilliant. Good variation, a few slow starts, and a couple of botches. So it's a 7 for the match, 7 for the show. Cal gives a 9 for the match and 8 for the show. Martin gives a 7.5 for the show. A thank you mashup. Have a good Sunday yourself. So I said enjoyed that and thanks all. Bayley gives it an 8 out of 10. Sean says best match on the card. I think the I Quit match, to be honest, was my personal favourite. Just the pacing of it, the different sets that they went through. Carl says if Priest is seriously injured, could that be it for the Judgment Day? Let's not speculate as to whether or not what would happen if someone was seriously injured. My hope is that he's not. Martin says, thank you, Tom and chat. See you on Monday for Howdy. Well, start of Wyatt 6. Indeed. I'm also going to wrap it up there. I want to say a massive thank you to all of you for joining me. We will be back live again on Monday. Just be aware, as I've mentioned, we're very close now to having a date for the move for the house. My suspicion is that my birthday show on July 7th, or around July 7th, like the first show after July 7th, will be the last one before we take a brief break of 2 or 3 weeks so that I can get internet in the new house, set myself up with a backdrop, and just genuinely get comfortable. Okay? So, thank you very much for joining us for Clash of the Castle. I will see you all very soon. I've been Tom Colohue. You have been fantastic, and I'll see you all very soon.